Good evening. This is episode 5 of Pro Wrestling Talk, and Miss Switchy is back.
I
After last
am.
week, she's been, her sinuses were acting up, and, she's back now. So it's episode 5, and today we are going to talk about a few things, and, then we'll be off by around 10. So let's see we'll go from there. And how are you feeling? Other than, go ahead.
Better. There's still stuff in my throat covering my throat. So it'll be in and out pretty much all night. Uh it is what it is. I get these stupid things all the time. They gave me a test for the flu
Uh
and
huh.
I said it's not the flu, trust me. The doctor came in and said, "How'd you know that?" I said, "Because I've had sinus infections all my life. Trust me." I know it wasn't the flu. She said they couldn't give me amoxicillin because there is it's more viral. I went, okay, whatever. So
uh,
I'm basically sticking saline down my nose 4 times a day, and then I'm also doing like little jelly things. I think that might be the amoxicillin because I
yeah.
told her amoxicillin will clear me out. Trust me. There's something else she wanted me to take, and I have a codeine. I take like 5 milliliters of codeine every 8 hours, and
Uh,
that's to get rid of this stuff here.
uh-huh.
It is kind of working, but then it kind of isn't working. So, like last week, I was like, this is before I went to the doctors. I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna make it in tonight. But I felt
I mean,
bad because there was a lot to talk about and stuff I wanted to talk about
yeah,
because of the AEW crap
yeah.
that I
Me,
actually heard and listened to.
yeah, me and Dave and Greg covered it pretty well, I thought.
Yeah,
But
you
yes,
guys are doing awesome.
yes. So I tried to feature you as much as possible. You were in the chat, so it was like, okay, so
Yeah,
sending my
trying to
back
type
up.
as fast as I could.
Yeah,
I was like, well, I heard all this stuff on Jim Cornette's show, and I was literally trying to like type as fast as I could. I'm like, yeah, I heard this and heard that, and I
yeah,
agree with this and that.
yeah. I mean, there was something that came across on today. I didn't even know this about AEW. Jim Cornette, discussed. They uploaded it today. Something about a lawsuit or NDA. I don't.
Interesting. I
Yeah, I
didn't
just.
see that today.
Yeah.
I'll have to listen to it, but I was well, I did watch the Sergeant Slaughter uh, biography.
Oh, you watched it? I didn't
It
get a chance
was
to yet.
yeah, it was really good. The only thing I didn't like is the wife. Jim Cornette didn't like the wife either. You have to understand, as a wrestling wife, if you've ever been a wrestling wife, there are yes, you're going to not
Mhm.
see your husband all the time. You're not
Yeah.
going to be able to be with them all the time unless you're also in the wrestling business. And she hated the wrestling business. She hated
Yeah.
everything about it. The thing is, if I were married to one of the wrestlers, you'd have to understand either you go on the road with them and you hire babysitters to watch your
Yeah.
kids, or you stay with the kids and you don't see your husband. That's how it goes.
Yeah, you just have to deal.
That's being
Either.
married to the business.
Mhm.
And I felt bad for him because he just his name is Bob Rebus. That's his real name, Sergeant
Yeah.
Slaughter. And I felt bad for him and his girls, but I mean that's what wrestling is, and he wanted to be in wrestling because it was his dream. It was his life.
Yeah.
Just like Curt Hennig, just like all those guys that stayed in it for as long as they did. It's because they literally this was their dream, this was their life, and this is how they lived
Mhm.
it. And I mean, yeah, I get it that the wives they miss out and they miss their husbands, but I mean, there's a reason why you married them in the first place, and to understand that that's their dream, you have to understand that, and you have to
Mhm.
go along with it. You can't just, oh well, I'm going to divorce him because this isn't what I signed up for. Hey, when you married him, that's what you signed up for because that was
Yeah.
his life, that was his dream.
100%. And and I mean that's if you don't want to be married, you don't want to be, you hate wrestling, your husband in it, either you get divorced or you deal with it, one or the other.
And here's the kicker. They got divorced when he did the Iraqi sympathizer.
Oh,
She left him because of that, because they were receiving real death threats,
yeah,
which I can understand. I mean, he put his family through that. And I understand what he told his kids. He said, everyone was making fun of me, saying this, saying that. He said, tell them we're laughing all the way to the bank. I mean,
yeah,
yeah, that's a good thing to say to your kids. Tell them that we're laughing all the way to the bank. Someone picks
yeah,
on you, tell them we're laughing to the bank.
yeah, because he got to work with Hogan that year, so that's why it's
Yeah,
like he's on top that year. So it's like,
he was on top.
yeah,
Yeah, they didn't say about the what he had said in that previous interview that you and I both saw. They
hmm,
glossed that over. Didn't say
yeah,
why he was a champ, just that he was a champ. But I went, it's because that fool Ultimate Warrior didn't kick out. That's why he was champion, because Warrior forgot to kick out.
yeah. When I saw that, I was like, wow. I mean, that's a shocking claim. It's like Warrior's supposed to kick out, but because he got hit by a Macho Man scepter.
Right
So
here,
I
right on
always
the
assumed
forehead.
that it made that's part of the finish. Like, okay,
Okay,
Greg, I
Greg.
mean, you'll be here. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, I always assumed, even until Ray recently, like that was the finish. Macho hits him with the scepter. He knocked out, gets pinned, and then he chased after him afterward. I didn't know that he's supposed
Yeah.
to kick out. It was like,
Well, in the biography, they completely glossed it over and didn't even say anything about it. I was like disappointed. I'm like, well, come on, tell them that the reason why Warrior didn't kick out is because he was knocked out from the. I
mhm.
guess they just didn't want a bad image of Jim, but I mean, yeah, that fool was supposed to kick
I think
out.
I think his widow still works in WWE.
She might,
Because she had
yeah.
a job there after he passed. They gave her some like job, whatever it's called. But
And I feel for her. I mean, I feel bad for. Well, I don't feel bad for Warrior because he's the one who broke Randy's arm.
yeah,
So he kind of deserved it because he wasn't paying attention. I mean, there's an interview with Bobby Heenan, and Heenan said, he got to work with Hogan, but I mean, he didn't respect the business. And yeah, he got hurt because of Warrior, throwing him and dropping him.
yeah,
There's an
yeah,
interview with Sherry, same thing. She got dropped and that hurts. She goes, that hurts. And I'm
yeah,
like, of course it hurts if you're dropped on your face
yeah. He just would do this and then walk
and
away
drop
and
them
just drop
and
them.
just
Yeah,
drop them.
I'm surprised he wasn't told by the office to stop doing that because that hurt people.
Yeah. Um, One thing about Sherry and all her interviews, I just love it. She's so Southern. You ever heard her talk in real
Yeah,
life? She's so Southern. She's such a sweet lady, though. She would talk about Liz. Liz was like a good friend of hers,
yeah,
and they asked her, was she sad that they split her and Savage up? She said, all things must come to an end. And,
hmm.
it was even more heartfelt when, um,
Hey Dave, what's
she,
going on? Glad you're here.
Heidi, um, her and Liz were good friends. And she said it made it even more heartfelt when Liz and Randy got back together. I know they played this on X not too long ago.
Hmm.
Liz and Randy getting back together at WrestleMania 7.
Yeah. Hmm.
Trust me, I do remember that. I was 4 years old when that came on. I
Yeah.
do remember it, and I was crying
Hmm.
because it's very emotional. It's an emotional minute, and them getting back together was it was supposed to play on that heartstrings, and they actually do pan around in the crowd,
Yeah.
and the crowd are literally they're all crying too.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, yeah, I was watching interviews with Bobby, with Dr. Schultz, David Schultz. He's like surreal. He is the character he is in, um, on TV.
Hmm.
That's how he's like, but he's very southern, got that southern drawn too.
Yeah.
Um, he called Dutch Mandela yes man, and Dutch is like, well, yeah, I kind of was a yes man. So, um, Dr. D is, I would say, the interview when they interview him, he's just like he is in person, up in your face and very southern. Um, so, but I did see on X, and this is crazy, but because I want to talk about the Mike Tyson thing, because
Oh
I think
yeah.
it's the dumbest thing I've ever heard of, and I heard it from Jimmy Dore. Um, so apparently, Jake Paul is gonna face um, Mike Tyson in a boxing fight, but he wants to wear headgear and he wants his brother to be tagged in. I went, no, wait a minute. Are we boxing or are we wrestling, guys?
Yeah.
Which is it?
Yeah. That
So go ahead.
I I'm assuming that has to, is that real or that's just a troll, because that is no way that those are, unless it's exhibition.
From what I was told, it was real.
There's been a lot of said
I
about
have
Jimmy.
no idea, to be honest with you. I just heard it on Jimmy Dore. I went, why is Jimmy Dore talking about this? He knows nothing about boxing.
I know
Because he was
for
going to be there. He was gonna block out all that stuff.
yeah.
He wasn't going to tour. He just
Uh
wanted to watch that match. He was gonna get a pay-per-view, I think. And
huh.
he says, now that Jake Paul wants Logan Paul to be in, I'm like, the wrestler Logan Paul? He
Uh huh.
that's Jake's brother? What the hell? What the hell's going on here?
Yeah.
But yeah, he said the stipulations. I went, wait a minute, boys. Is this a boxing match or a wrestling match? Which are we talking about here?
Well, the
What's going on?
well
Because
the
on
Logan.
X, I saw, and it was pretty cool. Um, Muhammad Ali got up in Gorilla Monsoon's face,
Uh
and he put him in some kind of wrestling move. It was freaking hilarious.
huh.
But they weren't having like a boxing match.
Yeah, I remember seeing that video. So Jake Paul's their team is denying those rumors. For they're like, there's no headgear for Paul versus Tyson. Haters spreading fake news, but it won't stop the tens of millions of views. So his team is denying those rules, but
Okay. Yeah, well, that's what Jimmy said. Jimmy's like, "Oh, I'm gonna block out everything. I'm gonna watch this match because I want to see." Because apparently Jake has won like 9 fights,
yeah,
and I'm
but
like against Mike Tyson.
he's never fought at heavyweight. He usually fights as a cruiserweight.
He's gonna get his ass kicked.
He
Oh my god.
So he's moving up to heavyweight to fight Tyson.
Oh my
Eh,
god.
yeah.
Okay, have fun because you're gonna get your head taken off. Mike Tyson don't screw around, dude.
Have you
That's
seen
all I
his
can
training?
say.
I've seen his training videos on Twitter or X. I mean, he
No.
looks like he could still kick your ass, at 58.
Yeah, Mike Tyson. Yeah,
Yeah. Hmm.
that's what I'm saying. It's like Jank and Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan's gonna kick your ass, dude.
I, I
No.
can't I can't believe to this day that Jenk said, "Oh, I can beat Joe Rogan." Like, Joe Rogan is a legit fighter. He was when he was younger.
Yeah.
That's what he do. A Muay Thai, not Muay Thai, kickboxing. He did, right? He did
Didn't he,
something.
UFC? Didn't he do
Was
the
it?
UFC?
Yeah, he was. He did some sort of fighting. I don't remember what it is right now,
I
but
thought it was UFC. And that's funny because Jake's always wanted to be a wrestler, but he's
hmm
not a wrestler, dude. Come back when you are a wrestler, Jank. You've never been one, but you wish you were Macho
yeah,
Man Randy Savage.
yeah. I mean,
Guess what, dude?
he
Savage is dead. He's
is
not
like
even here.
he's morbidly obese too. I mean, I don't know how he thinks he could
Bro,
beat Joe Rogan or anyone in a fight
I
right
couldn't
now.
believe that. When I heard that, I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Rogan is gonna kick your ass, dude. You're
Yeah,
gonna be on the floor wishing you never even heard of wrestling or UFC or
yeah.
kickboxing or anything.
His excuse was like, "Well, I'm bigger than him, and I could get on him, and he wouldn't be able to move as a wrestler." I'm like, I'm sure he can. I mean, he's has some sort of experience, fighting. I was like. Meanwhile, what are you gonna do? Just lay on him and hope to God he doesn't move.
Yeah, yeah.
He's not able to get out.
Who stole
Yeah.
Mrs. Perfect's voice? Gremlins. It was Gremlins.
Uh huh.
No.
Oh, hey, bad
Um,
cookies.
yeah,
Yeah, please
unfortunately, I'm
do.
stuck like this until the sinus drainage can get that out of my throat. But,
Yeah, we're talking about the Jake Paul Tyson fight. As far as I know, it's not. It's an exhibition. It's not. It doesn't count towards their records. It doesn't
okay.
say anything one way or another, so it could be a legit fight.
I just literally heard about it on Jimmy Dore show and I went, like,
Yeah, I
this is
heard
when Mike
about it.
Tyson is fighting about it or fighting again or
Yeah,
boxing.
he's he was, he came out. And when I saw this on Twitter, I'm like, oh wow, I mean, there Tyson's coming out of retirement again. Well, I get it. The money must be like he can't turn it down, but like still, I mean, wow. I mean, it must be crazy money for him to like, oh yeah, let me fight this kid, who's a cruiserweight by trade. He's not really heavyweight. He's moving up to heavyweight to fight Tyson.
And I didn't even know that Logan Paul had a brother.
Yeah,
Sorry. I
yeah,
really
Jake
didn't because I don't follow Logan Paul.
Logan
Um,
Logan Paul started boxing first, and then his brother got into it, kind of following his footsteps. And then Logan Paul got into wrestling, the WWE in particular. So it's like when
and what Jake didn't want to get into it, I guess.
he made one appearance, I think, in one of the Crown Jewel shows.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Yeah, when Logan Paul wrestled Roman Reigns for the world title,
Wow.
and Logan Paul was there in Saudi Arabia. His brother Jake, whatever his name is. So
Yeah, Jake.
that's the only
Excuse me,
appearance he
sorry.
made. Hmm.
But yeah, like I'm so disgusted because I know that Jake doesn't stand a chance. This
No.
is Mike Tyson we're talking about. We're
Hmm.
not talking about, Muhammad Ali who's no longer with us or his daughter. We're talking about Mike freaking Tyson.
Hmm.
And you're gonna go in any kind of match with Mike Tyson. Okay.
I'm like, yeah, I mean, put on the headgear. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
Like that was allegedly a rule, which he denied. Like, oh no, I'm not putting on headgear. It's like, maybe you should. I mean,
Maybe you should. Because I
because
can tell you you're gonna get your ass whipped.
if you see Mike Tyson's training videos on X, he looks like he's in great shape, especially for a guy that's 58 years old or about to turn 58.
Really, he's 58 already.
Oh, I
Wow.
thought he was Yeah, either turning 58 or about to be 58, one or the other. But yeah, I mean, there was plenty to talk about last week. This week, there's a lot more to talk about. Did you see Mike Tyson is like 68, and I think he's 58. Bad cookies, but yeah, I mean he's still in great shape, however old he is. But yeah, did you see Cody Rhodes promo on Raw, the one where he cried his eyes out?
I heard about it because they were talking about it. I think Jim Cornette was talking about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and The Rock cut a promo on it too on Instagram. So that's why, So yeah, I saw it, and I was like, I'm sure Greg saw it too. He'll be on momentarily, but yeah, I mean, I saw it, and I'm like, oh come on. I mean, it's like I get it. You're the baby face. You're trying to finish your story. You're gonna be the champion, but do you have
You
to act like a Mexican telenovela actor? I mean, come on. I mean,
have to act like a little pussy. Come
yeah. I mean, it's like,
on, you're Cody freaking Rhodes. Your dad was Dusty Rhodes. The
yeah, I
American
know.
Dream.
It's like he's a soap opera actor, just crying his eyes
Oh,
out.
jeez. One of
He's
those.
like, I can't give the championship to Dusty, but I'm gonna give it to my mom. I think her name is Michelle Rubio. He said, I'm gonna
Yeah.
give it to my mom, what I mean, and reward her with the world title when I win. And I'm like, and then The
But it
Rock, of
wasn't your
course,
mom's dream. It was your dad's.
yeah, she put up with a lot with Dusty. I mean, they were married for decades, and she was a good wrestling wife for all. We talked about wrestling wives earlier, but
Yeah, because the I saw the documentary on the Sergeant Slaughter,
yeah,
and his wife was just like, "Well, I hated the business. I hated being a wrestling wife." Then
yeah.
Why did you marry him in the first place? If I'm a wrestling wife, either I'm going into wrestling myself with
Uh-huh.
my husband, or I understand that my husband's not going to be home all the time. This is
Yeah.
their dream, guys. This is what they have lived for. This
Mm-hmm.
is why Curt Hennig got into the business, because his dad was in the business.
Yeah.
He wanted to be a wrestler
And
because, that
that's
was in his
why
family, right?
yeah. That's why Dustin Rhodes got into business to follow his
Yep.
dad. The natural Dustin Rhodes. When he got to WCW, I saw the first time I saw him in the early '90s. I'm like, oh, that's Dusty's kid. Okay, and he was before Goldust. This is before Goldust, so
Yeah, it was before Goldust.
he was natural. And
And then he
Dustin
came in
Rhodes.
it when Dusty was against Ted DiBiase.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that little feud with
Yeah,
DiBiase?
he had a run
After
in WWF.
Sapphire left and
Yeah,
she had been bought off, it was yeah, Dustin came in for a couple of matches with his dad.
yeah. And he was the natural. Oh wow! I mean, here's Dustin too with his dad, and then he went back to WCW, and then by '96 or whenever Vince handed him or offered him the Gold Dust gimmick, and there was a funny story. Vince kept saying, "Oh, Gold Dust is androgynous," and Dustin didn't have a clue what that word meant. And he was kind of like, okay, yeah, 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 okay, okay, because he just wanted the job. He didn't like, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. Then immediately, as soon as he was done, he went to the dictionary, looked up androgynous. He's like, oh, that's what I agreed to.
Why didn't you just say gay, Vince? Why
Yeah,
didn't you just say gay?
yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I watched that Dusty. Um,
And Dustin, yeah, is like, what the hell? It's like, why didn't you
it
just
was a
say gay?
biography for Dusty, yeah. And I actually cried at the end of that.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, and Dustin, and then Cody again, same thing. He got into wrestling because he followed in his dad's footsteps. In
And
fact,
Cody is 1 year older than we are.
yeah,
I was like,
and
son of a bitch, how does that happen?
yeah, even the Rock I poked fun at that in his promo last week, I think it was, or when he got slapped. He's like, "Well, your sibling's like 20 years older than you, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, well, that's because you were a mistake." Everybody, whoa,
Whoa.
Yeah, that's when he got
No,
slapped. Mm-hmm.
Cody was not a
Uh-huh.
mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Neither was The Rock. But
Mm-hmm.
they actually did a follow up on Rocky Johnson. Rocky Johnson, he had illegitimate kids that he never took care of. So The
Yeah.
Rock really shouldn't be talking.
Yeah, I mean, he has siblings out there that he probably never met. So it's like,
That are older than him. Because
hmm
he was like the youngest, I think, of all of Rocky Johnson's kids. Because he was actually married to Rock's mom.
yeah,
So, but yeah, Cody Rhodes is, yes, the younger brother,
Rocky
yes.
Roads. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, he's the youngest, and he cut his promo. He cried his eyes out, and I'm like, your father was the kick-ass baby face, who never cried a tear, and he was a badass, even though he looked how he looked, but he was a badass, he
He
can,
was a
he can.
badass.
And Cody's coming across as like a soap opera actor. He's crying his eyes out. I get it. It's part of the story. He has the picture of his dad with the WWF title in '77. When he thought he won it, and it's always motivated him. To win the WWE championship. I'm about to say WWF, but yeah, I'm gonna say WWF a few times.
Well, we all say WWF because
Mm-hmm.
in our day it was the
Mm-hmm.
WWF.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was watching old on my pad here. I would just got done with Survivor Series '88 again
Uh,
because I like to start it right in '88 because I like a lot of those matches that Curt had when he first came in.
yeah. And yeah, I mean that was his promo. And The Rock loves to cut these. Yeah, The Rock loves to cut these promos on Instagram now, where he gets to say "fuck" every other word. So he loves saying that. He said, "Oh, you're fucking crying, Cody. You're fucking crying. What kind of man are you?" Blah, blah, blah. He went. He just cut a promo like on him. I don't remember the exact words, but that's basically what he said after he played the clip. Crying his eyes out. I'm like, you. you just set that up for him. I mean, that's where you're gonna go. It's like, and then he had the Rock concert happened last night on SmackDown, and it wasn't, it was like bleh, it wasn't even as good as I remember it to be 20 years ago when he first started doing those concerts.
I didn't even know he did a concert.
Yeah,
What did he sing? Elvis?
he
Because
made
he
up a
used to sing
song.
Elvis.
He's made up a song about Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. It's obviously written for him. It doesn't like he didn't write it himself. It sounded unnatural coming from him, like somebody wrote it for him, and he's just trying to remember the words, that somebody else wrote for him. I saw the segment; it wasn't natural. Like the other Rock concerts he did sounded more natural, but that didn't sound natural. That wasn't good.
Interesting.
I mean, if you watch it, you see it didn't sound natural. It was like somebody else wrote it for him, and he's like, "Oh God, what the hell am I trying to remember what I'm gonna say?" It's like it didn't come out natural. But again, he made fun of Cody and Seth, and the one thing that sticks out to me is the Rock saying that oh shit, the Rock saying that Cody no Seth, Becky was more popular than Seth. Like she's the bigger star. Like, which is always what people say about Seth. Like even Roman Reigns said this. Like, oh, Becky's the bigger star. Always to needle him.
Yeah, I don't know about that because I'm not really for I'm not for any of the women really. I never really was because they were just supermodel who couldn't make it in the wrestling business.
Yeah.
Um, they also talked about Luna Vachon and how she
Hmm.
would be probably one of the top stars even today if she was still around because they really got nobody. I mean, they have what is her name? Not Riley, but what's the girl in WWE in the Bloodline?
Um, in the bloodline.
Yeah, isn't she like the boss? She's like queen boss now. Is it
Uh,
Riley or Riley?
I don't know. I mean, there's no girl in the bloodline unless you're talking about Naomi, Jimmy's wife.
No. The girl with like the black and purple makeup. Isn't it
Um,
Riley or something?
Black and purple makeup.
Yeah.
Rhea Ripley talking
Rhea.
about?
Yeah, Rhea. Okay.
She's in the Judgment Day, so I was kind
A
of
Judgment
confused.
Day. That's what I meant.
Yeah,
A
yeah, hmm,
bloodline.
yeah,
Yeah. Isn't she supposed to be the queen being around there? But she looks like a freaking freak. Like I would. She looks like someone I would make fun of out in the street. And I'm not
yeah,
saying I don't look like a freak because I like my
yeah.
red
She
hair, but
she has like that goth gimmick, which because if
yeah.
you
And I had a goth gimmick in college because I had a goth friend. But I mean,
yeah
there's time to grow up,
if
ladies
you
and
saw
gentlemen.
her if you saw her when she first debuted, she looked like Charlotte Flair. I mean, she had that long blonde hair and her physique. She like Charlotte Flair. That's why I was like, "Whoa, is that Charlotte Flair?" I was like, "Oh no, okay, that's Rhea Ripley, new
Yeah, Rhea
wrestler."
Ripley.
So that's why she kind of remade her look. She looks completely different now. But yeah, I mean, she's a good wrestler. I mean, she's not. I'm not saying she's like great, but she's good enough where I can watch her. Uh,
Who is that? The girl who looks like a Japanese. Um, well, she looks like Godzilla in makeup.
um.
Asuka.
Oh, Oscar. Yeah,
Oh my
she's
god.
in. She's
I'm
in
looking
the
at this chick going, what the hell happened to you? You look like
Oscar
you've
is
been
in.
hit by a freaking tornado.
She's in that bitch stable. What is it called? Damage Control. It's her. They kicked Bailey out, and this his whole drama, which lead to the Bailey Io. I'm about to say Io Shirai Io Sky match at WrestleMania for the women's title.
Oh, I've been seeing her on X a lot, and I'm just like, who is this chick? She looks
Io,
like a freaking geisha reject or something.
yeah, Io Sky is the women's champion over on SmackDown. So they're having that feud, and that doesn't interest me in the least bit. which
Well,
is
like
why.
some of her hair sticking up, the other side is
Yeah,
like slicked back. And I'm like, well, make up your mind. You can't have both.
yeah, that whole angle just doesn't interest me in the least bit. And honestly, I said this on Twitter, but most of WrestleMania seems like it's filler for the most part. It doesn't. There's not much in there so far. That, oh wow, I can't wait for that match. The only thing interesting is the whole Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, Rock, and Roman Reigns melodrama.
Of
That's the only thing
course.
that's the only thing that's interesting in WrestleMania this year. The rest of it's more like filler. It's like, okay, we need to fill 8 hours of wrestling this year because WrestleMania is 2 nights, so they got to fill 8 hours of
They
wrestling. And it's like,
just do the 4 man one night and then do like Cody Rhodes versus um, Roman Reigns. Isn't he still the champion? Are
yeah.
they, or are they trying to um, take the, is he trying to overdo Hogan for being the most
Well,
champion?
the main event of night one is that tag team match.
Okay.
The Rock and Roman versus Seth and Cody. And if Cody and Seth wins, then the stipulation is it's a one-on-one match, no bloodline, no interference. But if Rocky and Roman wins, then it's bloodline rules, which means no disqualification, which means the entire bloodline's at ringside. So,
And your predictions.
and that the Rock is going to pin Cody or Roman's going to pin Cody, and then it'll be bloodline rules, and then that'll give Cody even more an obstacle to overcome to become the champion.
Just like they did with Stone Cold
Yeah.
over
Mhm.
the edge.
Mhm.
When it was McMahon was the referee. Um, Pat Patterson was the ring announcer.
Yep.
And Briscoe was the timekeeper. Oh,
And
come on,
so,
boys. Just
yeah,
let the man have his damn title. Just
it's
do it for
like
Dusty. Damn
it.
it. Come on.
Yeah, so that's my prediction. Cody has to go through a little bit more. What's what I'm looking for? Adversity in night two
He has
because
to
he's
go
gonna
through
get.
more obstacles.
Yeah, he has to get beat at night one. Either I'm pretty sure The Rock's gonna beat him because The Rock needs. He's not gonna let himself lose, especially after everything. If all the shit he did in Hollywood was true, that he wouldn't put anybody over, even in Hollywood. What makes you think he's gonna put over Cody at WrestleMania? So it's like, oh, let Roman do it.
Oh,
I'm not doing it.
the fact that they need to finish this story because I'm sick of hearing about it. Just finish the damn story, boys. There comes a time when you have to finish storylines, and this is that
Yeah,
time.
you do because like
It's been
eventually
going on way too long.
a
Wait.
book is that book has the beginning, the middle, and the ending. You have to have a good ending, or else then the book's gonna suck. And or a movie, same thing, or a movie's gonna suck. And Cody can't get beat again. I mean, if they beat him again, it's like you just kill him off. He's not a legit main eventer if you're just gonna beat him again.
To me, okay, enough with the story, boys. The story has been told. We all know that he needs to have the belt because they took it from his daddy in the garden.
Yeah.
So finish it.
Yeah, he needs to finish it. He needs to end. He needs to become the champion. But my concern is what happens afterwards. Does Triple H have a plan? Does he feud? Who's going to feud him with? Because he needs a good, strong heel to feud with coming out of WrestleMania.
Okay, well, if that's the case,
Hmm.
I don't know, Seth Rollins. How about McIntyre?
Yeah,
Or is he
McIntyre's.
too much of a bitch?
No, I mean he's going for the world title. He's probably going to win the world title from Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. So he's probably
Okay.
busy being the world champion. I'm thinking Gunther. He's the obvious first feud for Cody.
Okay, yeah, that would be good.
Yeah. So
But
he needs a strong, credible heel to go against for his first feud. Like it can't be like random heel X, whoever you could think of,
right.
because it was like, ugh, he just spent
No,
2 years
I get
going
that.
after Roman.
I don't know who the heels are now because it's hard to tell who's the
Yeah,
heel and who's not. Um,
that's the only one I could think of. Like Gunther, he'd be a good, strong heel to go up against Cody in his first feud.
are we having Gunther win or no? Or is he just kind of like there to keep Cody on his heels?
That's the problem. I wouldn't want to beat Gunther because I wanted
Okay.
to be champion too. So, who's a good heel that can go up against Cody that you know could could take some pinfall losses. I mean, Seth would be one, but they already did that match back when Cody first debuted or came back. They did that match 3 times,
Okay.
and Cody beat him all 3 times, and the third time was with that torn pec. He still beat him, so which to me was ridiculous.
I'm guessing Logan Paul is out.
Could be.
What do
I
you
mean,
think? No, you give
uh,
me your honest opinion. I'll just say a name. You give me your honest opinion.
with Logan can he's a good worker, but he for a guy that's only had like a few matches, he's incredible. He's better than most of the AEW roster by himself, and he's only had a few matches.
How about
But
Kevin Owens?
that if he turned heel, that would be a good feud because Kevin, a former world champion, he has credibility.
Okay.
He could take, he can get beaten a few times by Cody, and he can put him over strong because he's a good
Right.
worker too. So that's
And I was
actually a
going
good
to say
choice.
maybe Randy Orton too.
Yes,
Maybe turn
Randy.
him heel and
Yes,
yeah,
Randy would be
the
a good choice
the
too.
Legend Killer versus the American Nightmare. Is that what he's calling
Yeah,
himself?
yeah,
I was
and
like, that's a big step back from his old man.
yeah, and you also have the legacy angle because Cody and Ted DiBiase were in Legacy. Randy Orton, like it's like
Right.
15 years ago, but yeah, when Randy was
Well, but it's still relevant, and I
yeah.
think Randy could still
Mhm.
do a job
Oh yeah,
for
he can do
for
2 or 3
Cody.
jobs and be fine. I mean, he's at legend status at this point. So
Yeah.
no matter what, he does 3 jobs for Cody, he'll be fine. Nobody's gonna, and it won't ruin his credibility.
So we
So
have a couple that would be good,
yeah,
like I said, Kevin Owens, and then definitely Randy Orton.
the issue is they're
The
both baby
Viper, they
faces.
call him the
Yeah,
Viper.
yeah. The issue is right now they're both baby faces, so you would have to switch
Okay.
one or both of them.
Yeah, that's fine.
Which I had no
Um,
problem with, but I'm just
yeah,
saying you would have to switch them.
pick one.
Yeah. I would go
Um,
with personally. I would probably go with Randy and get that feud out of the way. I mean,
okay.
just kind of do like the legacy, like okay, I was the master. I'm the master. Oh yeah, you were my teacher, but now I surpassed the teacher or surpassed the master. That classic story.
Surpass the master.
Yeah, I surpassed the master. I'm better than you now. So, all Randy has to do is pretend to be Cody's friend. They have a match, and Randy turns on him halfway through the match and demands a title shot. And that's all it takes. Like, boom, you're off to the races.
Damn, you should be a wrestling writer.
Wrestling is really simple. I mean,
Oh, I know.
people today overcomplicate it. It's like in AEW, there's ridiculous storylines, like, and they overthink it. Especially Tony Khan, they overthink it. All of them. It's like, okay, let's have match this guy versus this guy, and let's tell a story, or not even tell a story. Just have a match for no reason.
Yeah, I don't know what
And
they're telling over at
yeah,
AEW.
Daniel,
Especially that
Daniel
last
Bryan.
match with Sting. Darby Allin has glass all over him and he still finishes the match. I'm like, what the fuck?
If
Sorry, my French, but oh my god. I
if
can't even get
Darby,
up after
yes,
if I get cut, trust me, I'm not getting up. I could barely
Darby
get up and
Allen,
I had a sinus infection.
that fucking Darby Allen's like 150 pounds. And
Right.
he looks like it, and somehow he's popping up after going through a plane of glass, hitting chairs, and then hitting concrete. And he's popping up to finish a match. I'm like, you just buried not only the entire roster, but the entire business. You just buried everybody,
And
because,
everyone's going through glass now. Not
yeah,
even sugar glass. It was real glass.
it's plexi. It was real glass, yeah.
Yeah.
And they did. Jim Cornette talked about this on his show. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, they went through glass. The glass flew into the audience and hurt
And
people.
hurt people, yeah.
Yeah, and
And
all
he said, look out for the lawsuits. And I went,
yeah.
oh,
We
yeah.
we talked about it last week on the show, and Greg actually said they put up like this disclaimer. It's like, oh yeah, if you got to watch out, you got to pay attention, because shit can fly from the audience. Like, that's not going to work
That's not going to
because
work. That's
that's
not going to
not
hold up in
reasonable.
court.
No, that's not reasonable. You go to a wrestling show and all of a sudden there's glass flying into the audience and hurting you. That's not reasonable. It's like they're using the baseball excuse. It's like, oh, you got to watch the game. You got to watch the game. Foul balls come in and hit you in the head. That's on you, which is different. That's reasonable because that happens in baseball. Foul balls go into the audience, to the stands all the time.
Yeah,
But in
these fans are
wrestling,
not always going to have glass fall on him or
yeah, that's not
hit him in the
reasonable.
eyes.
That is absolutely not reasonable. And putting up that disclaimer, I guess one of Tony's lawyers wrote that, but I think
Of
Megan or
course.
Mega, whoever it is, that
Jim
lawyer, he has wrote that.
Cornette's calls her Megan.
Yeah, it's Mega, I think, but he calls her Megan. I think Jim. I think there's rumors going around that she slept with some of the wrestlers, which is why they kicked her out of AEW. And she working for her dad. She's working for Tony's dad now in the Jacksonville Jaguars, but
She's
they didn't
probably
fire
sleeping with
her.
some of the football players too.
Yeah, they transferred her back to the Jaguars, but it's like, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what the hell. I mean, this tonight on Collision, Brian Danielson is wrestling random Japanese wrestler X again. He's done it the last 3 weeks on Collision.
The only thing I can say about him is he got one of the Bella twins pregnant because he
Yeah.
married her.
Uh
And
huh.
I saw an X, they got this huge teddy bear for the daughter, and she's scared shitless of it. But no, I agree with Jim Cornette. Enough with and Brian Last. Enough with Brian Danielson. Go away, dude. Go away and come back. We can't miss you if you don't go away, and we're tired of seeing you. So bye.
He's been wrestling random Japanese wrestler X for weeks on Collision. I'm like, dude, Jun Akiyama, he's wrestling tonight, I think, and I'm like, I don't know who that is.
I don't know who that is.
And he's from New Japan, apparently. I'm like, I don't know who that is. Like, and then, excuse me. And then they're like, oh, you don't, how dare you? And people, like, you don't know who that is. I'm like, I don't watch New Japan, and they're on, even if they're on television, they're on like in 3 in the morning. Like who? I mean, because it's local time here in the East Coast. I'm like, who's gonna watch that?
Yeah.
Unless you're, you're just a mark and and jerk off to New Japan. A lot of these AEW fans do. They jerk off to that stuff.
um,
Mm,
yeah, I'm not really into Japan wrestling. I did like some of the guys in WCW, but that was what 20 some years ago, almost 30 years ago. Like Ultimo Dragon, I liked
yeah.
him. He was a true Japanese wrestler, but
Hmm.
like when we were talking to that troll, that AEW troll,
Uh
he's like,
huh.
"Oh, I like some of the luchas." I'm like, the luchas today suck. They could not
Yeah.
hold a candle to Eddie
I was.
Guerrero, Juventud Guerrero, Rey Mysterio. They couldn't
Mm-mm.
hold a candle to these guys. That's not lucha wrestling. That's just jumping up around, jumping up and down
They're
and flipping.
That's a classic gymnastic wrestling that's taken
Yeah,
over wrestling today. Have
lucha.
you've seen that move, like the Spanish Fly? I mean, all the wrestlers love using it now. It's like a flipping rock bottom, basically, as I
Yeah,
describe it. The first time I
sunset
saw
flip
that,
is what they liked
yeah,
back in the '90s. That reverse
yeah,
sunset flip
yeah, yeah,
and Hurricane Ranas. Okay,
yeah,
enough, boys.
yeah, it was done to death in the '90s. But yeah,
Yeah,
the first time I saw the flipping rock bottom or Spanish Fly was literally a lucha libre. It was a show. It was on Univision, and I was watching it. It's like, that's a flipping rock bottom. Why would you do that? I mean, that's obvious cooperation. That's like 10 years ago.
yeah.
Now it's like everybody's doing it. Even in WWE, I've seen them do it. It's like, oh my god, like why would they allow them to do it? It's like, ugh. I
So
mean,
here's a question. Go ahead.
no, even in WWE is being infected
These
with yeah, yeah,
luchas. I'm
they're
like,
being
dude,
infected with
nobody can
modern
hold a
wrestling.
candle to these La Parca, Juventud
Yeah.
Guerrera, Eddie Guerrero, Chavo Guerrero. I mean, for heaven's sakes, they even got families. They're second generation.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Eddie Guerrero and Chavo Guerrero were both second generation Lucha
Yeah.
Libre wrestlers. For heaven's sake, at least they
It
can wrestle. They knew how to
makes no
wrestle.
sense, and then it makes no sense. Especially, it's gotten kind of worse since Vince was forced out. I mean, it's like Triple H allowing him to do more of this like modern wrestling stuff, and it's kind of lame, especially on Raw when they have 3 hours to kill. So it's like, do whatever you want, just give me a match. I don't care, but it's terrible. It's not good.
It is terrible, and that's one of the reasons why. Like, I was like, I can't watch this stuff. I'll just listen to Jim Cornette.
Yeah.
Because Jim, he gives it right. and it's like, um, I can't fathom watching that shit when it's like, nope, I gotta watch,
Hmm.
early WWE stuff, the early '80s, like '88, and I was
Uh-huh.
even watching Portland wrestling, with Kurt Hennig and Billy Jack and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it cleansed my palate because I can't watch this shit anymore.
No, I mean it's bad. I mean but WWE isn't as bad. I mean there's some good stuff there, some good stories, but for the and there's a lot more like heels and tradition. Okay, Greg. I mean we're gonna be on until around 10, so I'm sure you'll be on before then. I'm just saying, but like yeah, I mean what was I saying? Modern wrestling.
Yeah, and like I can't watch it. I'm sorry, I
Oh
tried. I'll watch like some of WrestleMania if I don't skip right through it, at least
yeah,
to see The Rock and Cody Rhodes and stuff. But
yeah,
most of it I probably won't watch.
yeah. I mean
I can
it's
understand the tag team at wow, Elimination Chamber. I'm like, who's who? Wait, what? What is this?
our
What is
review
this?
our review of that was like, oh, we fast forwarded this, or oh, I didn't pay attention. It
Yeah.
wasn't really much of a review. It was more like, hey, yeah, we saw it, but we
I
kind of
think
don't
the
know
only
what's
thing I
going
said
on.
was Damian Priest actually looks like a wrestler, but it looks like they're not
Yeah,
doing really much of anything with him.
I don't know. And because my mother's a huge wrestling fan too, she got me into this. So, but yeah, but she was telling me how and she forgot Damian Priest was Money in the Bank until she saw him with the briefcase recently. I'm like, what are they doing with that? Like, I don't fucking know. Triple H hasn't done anything with that briefcase in months. I think the last time tried to cash in was in November at
Well,
Survivor
and I
Series.
want to congratulate the Dominic Mysterio got married a week
Oh
ago.
yeah, yes, yeah. Hmm.
Congratulations, Dominic Mysterio. I wish you all the happiness in the world with you and your new wife, and I hope she knows how to be a wrestling wife. Because I'm telling you,
Hmm.
this is why a lot of wrestlers get divorced because
Yeah.
their wives just can't handle the business itself, and they don't really even they don't have as bad of a road schedule as they used to
No, it's much better now compared
have.
to
Yeah.
that back in the '80s and stuff. Hell, I think some of those '80s guys were talking about how they would do two shows on the weekends. They'd do an
Yeah.
afternoon show and an evening show, and they
Yeah.
sold out. And they sold out both shows. And
Honest to
that
God,
was
if I was a wrestling wife, I probably would be in it with my husband. I
yeah, you
would
would
probably
have
be a
to
wrestler too.
go on the road with them or be a wrestler, yeah, because
And then you
it's
could
like
just have like babysitters, like 24-hour babysitters, babysit your kids.
yeah. So yeah, I mean that's today they go. I think they do 275 days a year. If you're a top guy, if you're like the one of the top
But you
guys,
don't
unless
do like
you
6 days. You
no,
only do like a couple.
they work 4 or 5 days a week probably.
Yeah.
The other
Not
two
that
days,
much.
they're off, but they're promoting. Like they're going on radio shows or they're going on television and stuff, or so they're not really they're off, but they're not taking bumps those 2 days, but they're still working and doing other things. So,
Right.
but yeah, eventually, I read somewhere that TKO is going to plan on cutting back more house shows in the next few years.
I did not hear that.
Yeah, I
But
read eventually they're going to cut back on live events.
sorry.
Wait, which is
Um, no, I haven't heard that.
yeah, I read it somewhere. One of their Forbes or something. They put in their report. It's like, oh yeah, eventually we're gonna cut back on house shows. Because right now there's no reason to. I mean, WWE's hot. There's no reason to cut back. They're selling out everywhere, even house shows or live
Really, I didn't
events.
hear that either. I
But
heard
event.
they're having issues in AEW putting S's in seats.
Oh, you see, if you go on X every Wednesday and every Saturday or every Friday for Rampage, 2,000, 3,000, 1,000. It's awful. I mean, they cannot sell tickets. Oh, here's Greg.
Hey,
Hello.
Greg.
Hey, hey,
What's up, my peoples?
how are you?
Uh,
We're doing as good as we can here. This is the greatest I can do. So Here it
Yeah,
is.
this is the best. But yeah, we were getting to AEW and the debut of Mercedes Monet, as I call her, the artist formerly known Sasha Banks.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
Yeah,
how did that go? I didn't even see it.
a little bit of a
yeah,
letdown on
it was
Oh
on
yeah.
Wednesday night. Hell, Tony, they did everything they can, but say she was debuting. It's like they called it AEW big
I
business,
don't
big business.
people
Like they
people
go ahead.
people on Twitter were saying that like there would have been more viewers if they would have advertised her.
That would have been nice.
But I don't
Yeah.
what could they have really done though? Like anybody who I feel like what could they have done? Advertise on Raw, like run a commercial on Raw? Like everybody gets their
I
wrestling
would
news on Twitter. I mean,
Tony has unlimited amount of money. Just say that's big announcement instead of saying big business, saying Mercedes Monet. You can't say Sasha Banks, but Mercedes Monet is debuting at her in Boston in 8 weeks or whatever it was at the time. Then take that opportunity and put her face on billboards in New York City, Chicago, LA, Miami. Run commercials on Raw. I mean,
that I
or
mean,
SmackDown.
I don't know if that's
I
would have made a difference. I just don't think
yeah
she's that big of a draw.
yeah I
And
agree,
that's the
but
problem.
I would have tried something if I were
That's the problem.
if I'm president of the company. I'm like, I got to do something. I got this. I got basically the fourth wheel of the four horsewomen. So, and I got to put her over as a big star. So it's like just put billboards all over the country, put her face on billboards in Times Square, run commercials on Raw and SmackDown, letting put her face on it, letting WWE fans know that, oh yeah, we got Sasha Banks, so we can't actually say her name. So here's her face, and her name is Mercedes Monet now. Watch on AEW on TNT such and such date or Wednesday, whatever
Well,
what date was.
the
I
word
don't know
is
if it would have
out.
worked or not, but
So
I don't know if it
word's
would have
out.
worked.
So
But
we'll see next Wednesday if it makes a difference. But I mean, just look at the ratings of the show. Like people knew just based on what the main event was that she was gonna make another
mhm.
appearance that night. Nobody stuck around to see that.
Tony, they
They were
stuck
at like
Rehab.
600,000 people when that show ended,
Yeah, they
Yeah.
stuck.
and they all knew.
Yeah.
Everybody watching that show knew she was gonna come back and make
Yeah,
another appearance, and
yeah.
nobody stuck around to see it.
As soon as she
I
debuted
mean,
and cut her promo,
yeah,
man, I saw
two
a
hundred
hundred
thousand people
people,
left.
a shit ton of people. They posted videos on Twitter turning off the screen TV or changing channel as soon as she was done,
Well, they're gonna make her a baby face, which already I don't think is a good idea.
which is stupid.
I think she's a way better heel than she
Which
is
is
a baby
stupid.
face.
It's like
So
Tony has no instincts for this. It's like he
no.
debuted Okada as a heel and made him a lackey, which made no sense. And then he debuted Sasha as a sycophantic babyface, talking about how happy she is being AEW. Instead of what they should have done, have her come out to the ring and cut her heel
She
promo and
should have
say,
talked shit on the women's division. She
yeah,
should have
yeah,
buried
and
the women's division.
yeah,
They
she would
Because
love
it's
love it.
they love
shit.
shooting on how bad their
Yeah,
company is. She
Yeah.
should have went out there and be like, "Y'all are lucky I'm here. I'm
here,
gonna
be above
wipe the
him.
floor with every
Yeah,
single girl y'all got here," and she would have got mad heat.
yeah, and she would have been above all of them. Like she would have, like, I'm above you. I'm multiple time world champion. Don't even mention WWE. Just say you're a multiple time world champion.
She
I've
needed to be the
traveled the
female
world.
She needed to be the female MJF.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm better than you, and you know it.
Hmm
I'm
and
better than
instead,
everybody here, and you know it.
yeah, instead she cut the sycophantic babyface
That we've
promo. Like,
all heard a million times.
yeah, I'm so happy to be here,
Generic baby
guys.
face.
Yeah,
Like
and I
what they
was,
were trying to do to Ronda Rousey
yeah,
Yeah, that works.
a while back. Oh, I'm so good
Gen-
to be here. I'm so happy. Oh, but my
mhm.
face doesn't show it.
Some people's personalities are just suited for one or the other. I mean, Roman Reigns, not a baby face.
And they were
You
No,
know,
booing him out of the building even
and it
when he
was
was
unnatural for him to try to pretend he was, and
Yeah, they kept telling him to
so
go home.
he's so much more
that was
natural as a heel, and just
that
like
was
MJF, not a
yeah.
baby face, and they keep trying to do this because the stories get stale. They're like, well, what else can we do but switch
we
them? And it's like, no, they should be what they are
we
and just
are,
let that ride.
and the fans like he's our scumbag. Like
Yeah, like
he's our
Well, he's your
scumbag.
scumbag.
But he's not a scumbag. He's a babyface. So how it's not like he was the same heel he always been at that time. Like that
yeah.
makes no sense.
So, like you're right. They blew it with Okada, making him a heel,
Then
attaching him to the Young Bucks, which drive viewers away. So I feel like
Ugh.
the Young Bucks are kind of latching onto him
Yeah,
just
that's
so they
exactly
can
what
be
they're
like, hey,
doing.
look, our segment didn't draw 200,000 people away. And it's like, well, they probably would have if Okada wasn't standing next to you. So, I mean, the Young Bucks are smart in the fact that they're putting themselves at the top of the hour and they're putting a top free agent with them. So it's like they know what they're doing. And
they're screwing it up.
yeah,
They're grade A
it's selfish.
politicians.
They're like, well, we're just going to make Okada part of us despite the rest of the show.
He's in the elite, even though eventually their excuses, or at least of what I got on Twitter, is like, well, it's gonna lead to Okada versus Omega eventually.
It's probably going to lead to the Young Bucks and Okada versus Omega, Hangman, and Ibushi. I feel like that's definitely where this is going.
Oh wow, a 6-man tag.
I think that's where it's probably
Again.
Which
they
Vince
fired Kenny, remember, and they suspended Hangman, so they're already kind of setting that up that they're not.
They're already setting up.
So I feel like that's going to be the first feud, and eventually they'll get to Omega and Okada.
Because they don't understand. Tony doesn't.
I thought Omega's hurt.
He is. He had diverticulitis.
He seems fine on his Twitch streams or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, stay on Twitch, Omega. Stay on Twitch. That's where you deserve to be because you are not a wrestler. I'm sorry. Come in as you were.
No, he isn't.
Do not like that dude.
The fans, the AEW fans, think he's the greatest thing since sliced bread.
He couldn't even lace up my man's boots. Dude, I'm serious.
No, he's just another video game wrestler.
Yeah.
Doesn't.
Well, if that's what you want to do, Omega, then do it.
He just
Will Ospreay
spams moves.
Yeah, Will Ospreay is the younger version of Omega, and they.
Oh yeah, and Meltzer's kind of already anointed him as that.
Yeah, he's like,
and that's sickening in its own.
Yeah, Meltzer. Meltzer blocked me on Twitter, like
He must have missed me. I'm like, dude, I'm the one who's telling you that Omega couldn't lace up Curt Hennig's boots, but you give Curt Hennig and Bret Hart 4 stars at SummerSlam 91, but you give Omega a bunch of 5 stars, and now you're anointing someone else who can't lace up my man's boots. You are a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Omega
versus... Kurt Angle.
I'm not going to block you. I'm like, okay, fine, I'll call you a fucking idiot again.
Kurt Angle
never got a 5-star match from Meltzer.
Curt Hennig is what I meant. Curt Hennig also never got a 5.
Both of them, yeah. Kurt Angle didn't either.
Now
I don't like Kurt Angle.
Hands out 5 stars just because who the wrestler's name is. You know, he's already got that penciled in.
Omega and Ospreay won match of the year.
They win it every
match. Yeah. That bullshit match that they blew up the ring.
Second place too, I think. No, their other match finished second.
Oh yeah, for those awards, those bullshit awards.
They had a match of Forbidden Door, and they had another match in Japan. I'm not sure which one finished 1 or 2, but they literally finished 1 and 2.
I mean,
but,
that's Meltzer's readers, you know.
Mercedes made her debut, which sucked, and at the end she comes out and
because they don't know how to tell a story in AEW.
The main event was Riho versus Willow Nightingale, I think her name is.
Don't even get me started.
That main event. That was the main event of.
Do it, Craig. Do it. Do it.
A lot of people got mad at me at my opinion of that match.
Yeah. I saw it. And I came on.
It wasn't.
I love your opinion, Greg. Go for it.
I wasn't planning on
that.
But yeah, I mean, first off, Willow should have just squashed her. That should have been it. Willow should have came out there.
Isn't she a fat chick? Is Willow fat?
She should have completely ragdolled.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Riho is like 120 pounds.
Riho.
I mean, it looks like they're setting up a feud to continue the story with Willow and Mercedes from their New Japan match. It looks like
they had a match in Japan. Yeah.
So why not build Willow up as this monster heel? Go out there, squash Riho, you know, a fan favorite for some reason, and get heat. You know, beat her up after the match, get heat, and then have Sasha come out and save Riho, and then you're setting up.
Yeah.
Because you answered your own question.
Babyface dynamic for her first feud, which I don't think it's not a bad first feud for her. Like I said, at least there's a story they could tell if they could figure it out. But no, Riho
didn't know how to figure that out.
Gives her a Northern Lights suplex, and I'm just like, what the fuck?
Riho,
what are we
Willow.
doing?
Willow nearly broke her neck twice in
What
that
are
match
we
trying to.
doing?
She broke her
That's
neck
the
nearly
that's the
twice.
thing though. They don't know what they're
Putting
doing.
It
They're
they
just
looked
she would
like.
getting two chicks together and
Have
hoping
you
they
ever
can
seen
tell a
the
wrestling
Japanese
story.
matches where they wrestle the sex dolls and they
yeah
basically
Omega
have
did
to like
that.
I'm
suplex?
glad
Oh,
I missed
Ken,
that.
hey,
Eh,
I heard of Kenny's wrestled a few sex doll matches.
He
yeah
also wrestled a 9-year-old girl.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah
but like
none of the
that's what
wrestlers
the
I know of would do that.
yeah.
no
So Willow's out there suplexing herself, doing all these moves to
yeah she
herself,
nearly
putting
broke
her
her
legs
neck
up for the
twice.
pin, and
Yeah,
I just make a 30-second clip calling out how ridiculous it is.
yeah it was.
And 530,000 views later, I'm just like, you should see my DMs. I mean, people are really mean on Twitter. You know, if
Hey,
you don't like their favorite wrestler,
they can't handle the truth. I mean,
like
you
I'll
could have
to
two
be
chicks
fair,
in the ring and just
a
throw them
lot of
together.
people did agree. To be fair, obviously, I
Yeah,
mean,
it was
come on.
awful. That
But there
match
are
was.
people that were just going to die on that hill and defend that, not because they disagree with me, but because they feel like they have to defend AEW at all costs. And
Yep.
once I kind of like they call because I tried to like kill them with kindness. I would try to like point the mirror at them, and be like, "You're the one being a douchebag, man." Like I'd make anytime they'd like make fun of my TV or the way I talk or whatever.
Yeah.
I would just try to be like make a joke
Really?
about it. Like, come on,
That's
man,
the
like
Yeah.
only
it's
thing
not
they
that
could come
bad.
back with
And then
is
once
that
you
you
kind of
talk
break that
funny.
once you kind of break that defensive barrier down and be like, "Hey, man, I'm a human too. I'm just watching wrestling like you." And they're like, "Oh, right, yeah, it was kind of shitty, but you know, I get defensive." So it was a lot of that. A lot of people just being like, "My bad." I get defensive when people talk shit about AEW. So I ended up making like quite a few friends from it. But yeah, it was. I wasn't expecting that. That was supposed to just be a joke among my
It's terrible.
500 followers or
That
whatever.
match was atrocious. I mean, it was
No,
Willow
it was
putting
an
herself.
embarrassment
It was
to
putting
wrestling.
herself in and out of moves to
Bro.
try to make Riho look good.
I'm sitting there watching it. And I'm like, I know I'm
I
not the
watched
only
it
one
too.
thinking this. I know I'm not the only one seeing this. So I
I
just
was
put out a little
astonished at
clip.
that match.
Put out a little clip with a little
She might
commentary.
as well have just wrestled the Invisible Man
Exactly.
Yeah.
or
It was
woman.
embarrassing. But it's another example of these people are just happy to be there. In
Yeah.
the 80s, 90s, people would have been like, "Fuck no, I ain't doing that." But they're like, "I'm cashing a pretty fat check right now. I don't want to make waves. I could probably ride this gravy
Even if
train for
they
a long time." So Chris Statlander's
do.
out there taking L's to Riho.
Oh, that's
Willow's
so
out there
stupid.
getting Northern Lights suplex by. So they're
I
just probably just happy to be receiving
I
the biggest
I
payday of
could
their life.
I could go off on the Statlander thing because wasn't she the one who broke Jay Cargill's undefeated streak?
Yeah, what a waste of that.
Yeah, and then
What a
she beat her
waste.
again on Rampage,
She
and
beat her
then
twice.
yeah, and then immediately she's like down the card again,
Yeah.
stuck in a stable with Stokely Hathaway and Willow.
It's crazy, man, when you waste a
Like,
rub like that.
eh.
It's
She
crazy.
beat Jade Cargill twice, and then Jade Cargill is probably the biggest girl star in WWE, even though she's only done one match, the Rumble.
Yeah, the Rumble. And everybody talked about how
You gotta
awesome
be
she
kidding
was.
me.
Yeah, she's only done one match. She'll probably work at WrestleMania this year against somebody, but
I think they're going to
she's
put her
only done.
against Nia Jax, maybe. That'd be interesting.
Oh,
They
there's
kind
a
of had a
story
little
there.
bit of
Cousin of the Rock, huh?
going on in the
Yeah,
Rumble. So I think
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
remember
threw.
when the Rock's daughter couldn't make it, so they just made her the head of whatever?
Yeah, the GM of NXT. She's still there.
Yeah.
maybe she'll figure it out. But yeah, that Willow Riho match.
Oh, that
I
match
don't
was
get it.
atrocious.
I don't get why anybody likes Riho or defends that, unless they have a weird obsession with Japanese schoolgirls.
Well,
'Cause
Omega has an
Yeah.
obsession with that.
That's him, and they're like, you know, how many people are like, "You're not supposed to take it serious," and I'm just like, "What the fuck are we doing here?
It's wrestling.
What are we doing
Yeah.
here?" They're like, "Don't you
If we
know?
can't take wrestling
Don't you
serious,
know
I
wrestling
mean,
is cooperation?" It's like, yeah, but you're
yeah.
supposed to fucking hide it.
I
Back in
got
the
some.
80s and 90s, they had this thing called kayfabe.
You're
Now,
supposed
if
Yeah,
you're
I
not
got
going
that.
to do kayfabe, then what's the point of having a wrestling show, boys?
You're not
I
supposed
got
to
that
take it
too.
serious. I'm like, this is
I
the
got.
modern day wrestling fan.
Yeah,
You don't
They
take it
don't
somebody.
take it
serious.
serious. There's no kayfabe
Physics
anymore.
don't matter. Kayfabe doesn't matter. Heels and baby faces don't matter. It's
Somebody
just
came.
it's a circus. They're watching the circus. They're watching
Somebody
guys
came
do
to
flips.
me. Yeah, somebody came to me on X, basically saying, "Oh, you," because I said that the Riho match was ridiculous because Willow's putting herself in and out of moves, and somebody else responded to me, "Oh well, the suplex is ridiculous too. It's cooperation." I'm like, "Yes, but it's not. They don't make it obvious." Like Greg said just now,
Well,
Yeah,
it's
there's
usually two grown
making
men
people look
doing it
good.
who could
Yeah.
obviously lift each other. It's not
Not
a
these
90-pound
110
girl
pound
Yeah.
girls.
lifting a 250-pound woman.
Yeah,
Like it, yeah, and she almost broke her fucking neck.
twice. I saw at least once or twice she nearly broke her neck
I'm
trying
right
to.
there with you, Greg. I'm right there with you.
It was so frustrating. Like I was just sitting there. I'm like, I know I'm not the only one thinking this.
No,
Watching that.
No,
match.
you weren't.
And that's
I
why I
saw.
posted the video, just to be
Yeah,
like, y'all see this too, right, guys? Like y'all see this. This is a fucking joke.
Yeah,
And
it's
a lot of people.
That's modern wrestling, though.
Tony-
A joke.
I felt pretty vindicated.
I saw this
You should.
I saw this tweet, from somebody here, but I'm not sure how true this is, but I'm going to assume it is because it seems like it's credible. But let me just read this out loud for you, and if I can actually make it bigger, Angel.
Oh, is this Mercedes chick?
Yeah, that's her.
Okay. I've been
But
seeing
it
her
says-
around.
Yeah, I did see that tweet.
Mercedes debut AEW garnered 8 million views in under 12 hours across all AEW social media platforms. You might say, well, that's pretty good. But to compare it, CM Punk's debut got 46 million views in 12 hours. And Adam Copeland, a.k.a. Edge, got 27 million views in the 12 hours. So, yeah, it's really disappointing numbers, for
Yeah,
Mercedes
I think I
debut.
tweeted under that. I tweeted under
Yeah.
that comment. Like, yeah, that's not good.
Yeah,
And she apparently, Tony, or I read a tweet that she's the highest paid woman.
Yes, I wanted to
wrestling
get
right
to
now,
that too. Allegedly, she's like the highest paid woman in wrestling right now. And I saw a number, which it has to be incorrect and absurd, but I saw a number that
The
said
10 million?
that,
The 10
million
number?
number.
No way. It's
And
got to be
Sasha's
like
making 10 million
10
a year.
million total. It's got to be like 10 million over 3
I hope
years
so.
or
Because
2
Tony's
years
a
or-
mark. He's a mark, but not. He can't be that much.
It's hard for women wrestlers to draw money. No matter how great you are. There's like 4 that do it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Sasha's one of them. We'll see.
No, she isn't.
We'll see.
Maybe.
And it's because I think
that tweet, it didn't surprise me that Copeland and CM Punk blew her numbers out of the water. That didn't surprise me at all. Those guys have drawn money for decades.
Well, and speaking as a woman myself, I think it's because, in the 80s and 90s, the women's wrestling was kind of a joke. They made it a joke. Oh, well, look at these women over here. They're just nice to look at.
It was a sideshow act.
Yeah, it was a sideshow. Hey, look at these women. They look like they could wrestle, but, at least they're just here to look good and made their husbands or the wrestlers, whoever they were valeting, look good. So I think that has to do a lot with the older wrestling, the fact that they didn't take women wrestling very seriously in the 80s and 90s. And even back in 88, the women's champion was Rockin' Robin, who was Jake's sister. And then they kind of dissolved it.
Yep, I do remember.
Yeah.
I remember that from the Jake the Snake documentary they talked about.
Vince basically dropped it, and they never mentioned the title
wrestling
again.
is about
not really
physicality, and very few women exhibit real physicality in the ring.
Yeah,
like you got Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, Bianca. There's not many of them that look like they're actually hurting someone. You know what I mean? Like watching Zelina Vega go out there. Bless her heart. She's not. She doesn't look like physically intimidating, and it doesn't look like anything she's doing hurts.
The last woman wrestler to actually look like she could beat someone up, and I'm not kidding, Chyna.
Yeah,
that woman looked like she could beat the shit out of you.
She was fucking legit.
And she was wrestling men too, and looked credible, unlike most women who try to.
She looked like she could beat the shit out of you.
Yeah.
So I think that's really her and Luna maybe, but not Sable.
Luna scared me when I was a kid.
Because she'd come out and be like,
"Wild." So was her uncle, right?
Does that hurt?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mad Dog Vachon was her uncle.
Was fucking nuts.
It's just the
But
way
yeah, I
Mercedes
just don't
is.
think women's wrestling draws because
No.
it's just there's
Well,
no physicality to it.
I'm
It's
telling
just
you,
And
I have a
unless they all look like
prediction.
China, there's not going to be
yeah.
anything.
And like I said, those are few and far between. Those are like
Yeah,
once in a generation.
and my
Yep.
prediction is Mercedes won't draw anything, and
I
she'll
don't think
probably
so
have it,
either, man.
and she'll have a CM Punk meltdown and leave within a couple of years.
And this isn't even me hating on like AEW. I just never saw Sasha Banks as a draw.
Neither did I. I
I
said
was
it
never.
myself.
She's really small, so like I said, she doesn't have the
She
physicality aspect.
she was the
She,
fourth wheel.
she's a decent promo.
Yeah,
Her work is pretty good, but like I said, it's hard, not very believable.
yeah.
And I don't know, man. I guess
She was
we'll
she
see.
was the fourth wheel of the four horsewomen. I
I
mean,
hope
she
they
was
prove me
like,
wrong. I really do. I hope she proves me wrong and
she
she
ain't gonna.
works out good for him. I just don't
Yeah,
see it.
with the money that she's allegedly making, being the highest paid woman in pro wrestling, I don't think
He's not
she's
going to
not
get
gonna.
that. He's not going to get that
He's
back.
Tony's not gonna get that investment back, whatever it is. It's not 10 million. I mean, a year. I
Well,
mean, it
a lot
can't
of
be.
these women need to hit the gym. You need to have muscle, ladies.
Hmm.
It doesn't matter what these titties look like. You have to have some kind of muscle. Because otherwise, you just look like you're going to be a valet and you're just
Yeah,
there
you look
to
like an
prop
Instagram
up your
model,
wrestling.
not a professional wrestler.
Right.
Yeah.
But I
How?
think
What?
the big thing is, and I've seen it even in the 90s and the 80s, is that they always care about what your titties look like.
Yeah.
That always helps.
That
Yes,
sells
Vince.
you
because
can
it's
blame
sex.
Sable for Sable helped.
Yeah.
kind of brought that along. Jesus
Well,
Christ.
Because
Sable.
it never really was with Sherry, not with Elizabeth, but it was more like, when they started like with Sunny and stuff.
Oh yeah, no, even
Sorry, guys,
Sherry,
but
man.
I
Some of
mean,
those
that's it.
when Sherry was with Macho and she cut
Uh-huh.
that promo in front of the Ultimate Warrior and like simulated, like you know what I mean? Like that was
Yeah.
fucking wild for that time in WWE.
Yeah.
That
That
was
was like,
wild.
literally
Uh-huh.
sex on hardwood.
Yeah, I couldn't
Yeah.
believe that.
I I
I got a
don't.
question for y'all.
Yeah.
How
Go
Okay.
many
ahead.
how many wrestlers in AEW do you think actually like earn more than their contract? Like actually draw money more than what they're paid? I know that's kind of a hard thing to
Mm,
pinpoint, but like MJF probably draws, for
Maybe
that
he's the
company.
only one.
yeah.
So
He
I would say
probably would
one,
be.
MJF.
So he's probably losing money on every single one of these
Well,
Yeah. He
that's
has
what
to be.
that's what Jim Cornette said.
Yeah.
He has to be losing at least $1 million, maybe more than $1 million every single quarter because I mean, what
Oh,
they
it's
can't
way
even
more than
get
a
someone to
million.
draw, and they're not drawing shit. Their
They're just
ratings are in the toilet.
like they're
They are
paying Chris
shit.
Jericho a ton of money, and he has one of the lowest rated segments on Dynamite.
Jericho,
Yes,
right? What's he doing now? Tag team with Hook? I mean,
I
or
Yeah,
have
he's
no
he's
wrestling with
he's
idea.
Hook?
ruining Hook right now.
He's literally just
They have a match
ruining
Uh,
Hook.
next. They have a match next week.
oh yeah, they're doing Hey, I mean, we had a great tag team match, and and I respect you, but I have to wrestle you in the ring next week. I'm like, why? You just said you respected him. Why would
I
you
guess
wrestle a guy?
that's an AEW story.
Mm-hmm.
Cut a backstage segment, have a
It's a
match.
backstage
Cut a
segment, yeah.
backstage segment, have a match.
Except the segments suck.
it's yeah.
The segments suck.
Did you see Kyle
Jericho
O'Reilly
suck.
called out like the worst wrestler on the roster for his debut match again? Kyle
What's his?
O'Reilly,
No.
he's wrestling
Yeah,
tonight. He called out
yeah, he's
what is it? Brian Keith, I think his name is, or
yeah,
the
some
bounty
jabroni
hunter.
there.
The
The
bounty hunter.
bounty
He
hunter,
literally
yeah.
called
Oh
out
God.
the lowest one of the lowest guys on the card first. That's like Conor McGregor calling out. Well, I don't mean to compare him to, but yeah, that's like a
Yeah,
top-rated UFC fighter calling out, some guy on the street, basically. Like,
yeah, it's stupid.
why would?
It's like, oh
Where's the
yeah, let's have a
logic in that?
match. Let's have a match, and
There's no
let's have a
logic in anything they do. They just
let's
do
have
it
it.
because they
Let's
don't
have
know
a
And
what
that's
else.
why
competitive
they're
match.
shit. That's why the
Let's have
ratings
it.
are in the toilet. That's why they can't draw money.
I'm
Yeah,
not
pretty
watching the
much.
match, but I'm assuming the match is going to be competitive and it'll be
No,
15-20
Collision's
minutes.
on right now, and people were talking about how great Danielson and Shibata was, and I'm like, that's just a cold, predictable match to me. I don't. It's just guys are
Uh,
going to go out and do moves to each other, and Danielson's going to win.
I
Like,
saw your
why
tweet
do I need to
about
watch
the.
that? Why do I need to
I,
watch
s-
that?
I saw your tweet about the kicks. Like
Yeah, what the
Shibata kept
hell? I
kicking
don't.
him a
Yeah,
million times.
I don't get Japanese wrestling, where they just stand there and let them do
They
shit
stand
to
there
each
like
other.
it's like okay, let
Someone
me
said
kick.
it was pride, I guess. Who can be the biggest dumbass. and take the most shots for no reason.
Stupid.
I guess that's pride in Japan. But to me, it
Yeah,
just looks silly.
that's strong style.
It looks
That's what
silly.
Inoki created strong style to try to compete with MMA in the 90s in
I mean,
Japan.
you can still work snug and not let the guy just hit you, for fuck's sake. I mean, like,
Yeah,
it doesn't have to be that. Doesn't have to
that
be
was
that
what
stupid.
Inoki tried to do. Like,
Welcome to new wrestling.
Yeah,
and then
it's just so easy to critique, and I don't mean to be that, angry, like, but it's just too easy, and it's
like
just
you
like,
know,
why are they doing this?
because Tony's a money mark and he lets them do whatever they
Lets
want.
them do whatever they want. I don't even know why they
Yeah.
have agents in that company.
Or why they have anything really in
I
that
don't know what
company.
agent went out there and told Riho to give Willow a Northern Lights suplex. That motherfucker should be fired on the spot for that dumbass
Yeah,
decision.
whoever.
Or
I mean,
somebody should have been fired for that. Like, who let these girls go out there and wrestle that match? Like, what the fuck? What are we doing? But I guess
they're
I'm not supposed to take it seriously, I guess. I don't know.
Mm.
I just
I
come
don't
from
know
a
how you
time. I
couldn't.
just come from a time of being a wrestling fan where you did take it serious, and it was
you
meant to
had
be
to.
serious.
You had to, yeah.
And
I mean, there
I
was a
guess
thing called kayfabe, and now they
and
don't
I
have
guess I'm
kayfabe
just the
anymore.
old man yelling at clouds because I wanted to still have a
Yeah,
serious,
that's how we come across. Yeah, and to
connotation. I
these
wanted to
modern
still,
fans.
because like the jig's up. I feel like you should try even harder to make it serious now, because everybody knows what's going on, but they just go the other way with it sometimes, and
It's like we're all in on the joke.
they have a guy with
Like
one
you're,
leg wrestling a match for a title shot. You know what I mean? It's like,
Are you guys talking
I
about
guess
Zach?
I'm just not meant to take this, but it's.
Do you guys remember Zach? I think it was Zach Gowen.
yes,
He was the
Vince,
guy with the one leg.
Yeah, Vince signed him, and he had a run, and
I
he
actually thought
worked.
he was cute.
He worked with Brock Lesnar a lot. Brock Lesnar would just toss him around like he was some kind of, some kind of puppet. He would just toss him around the ring and throw him in the post and stuff. He was great at selling. I mean, he sold his ass off for Brock, but
Oh, I'm sure it really hurt. I'm sure he didn't have to try too hard.
yeah, especially in the early days, Brock was kind of like hard, like you just throw you and
Now they took him off everything. No more Brock anywhere,
no,
especially because of this scandal.
they can't. I mean, he's connected to Vince, in a way that very few of the guys are today. Because
yeah, he was always Vince's guy. He
he
would
was
walk out on shit when they're. Remember when he walked out on the company when Vince first
retired. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's
like,
that's loyalty right there.
that's bullshit.
loyalty.
That's bullshit.
I mean,
I'm
if you're gonna
gone.
do
It's
that.
like, they had to haul him. Oh, Vince had to call him. No, it's okay. I actually retired on my own. Don't worry. You can go back. He went back, but
that just shows
it's
the
like,
kind of loyalty he had to him. So
yeah,
they're connected.
yeah. And then allegedly Brock used that girl as a toy, for himself, and it's like, oh, you have to go, be in Brock's bed now because that was
Apparently
part of
that
the
was part of
deal.
the contract negotiations.
Yeah, yeah. Like so, it's like, and then Brock gave her a video, or she sent a video to Brock, blah blah blah. Now he's out of WWE. They haven't fired him from his contract, but they're not going to use him anymore.
No, I think TKO is gonna let this one
slide.
They're gonna.
Did you
He
see
will be
those
brought back
rumors?
eventually, but they're gonna wait a while.
Did you see those rumors where they're going to bring him back now? They're going to bring him back now.
No, I don't
Because
know. I don't know where this shit comes from.
his profile on WWE.com is back on the active roster.
Oh, that's what.
Oh no!
They put him
if,
back
if,
on.
if they were bringing him back, he would have been facing Gunther.
Yeah,
Obviously,
that was the original plan.
facing Gunther, so they're not bringing him.
That's
back.
the original plan for Intercontinental title.
Maybe next year.
I'm assuming Gunther's gonna win because Brock doesn't need the Intercontinental title right now at this point.
Well, as they said, if you don't go away, how can we miss you?
Yeah.
If you don't go away, how can we miss you?
Now it's Sami Zayn, and I'm like, that's a filler match. I mean, they're giving Gunther a filler match.
Sami Zayn better not win that match.
No, I hope
Gunther
he
should not
can't
be
win that
taking
match.
a pin. I love Sammy's great, but he's not.
Unless
he shouldn't be beating Gunther.
Unless they stick Chad Gable in that match to take the fall, have Gunther.
I think
drop
that's
the
probably
belt
what's going to happen since a lot of people were mad. People like Sammy got a lot of hate on social media.
Yeah, because
for winning that match, and Sammy, he's like, "What happened, man? I thought people loved me, but You know, I guess
Only in
Gable's just a
Canada, I
bigger
think.
Abel's just a bigger
because
underdog story, but
Isn't he
neither
from
person.
Canada?
yeah, Sammy is from
Yeah,
Montreal.
Sam's from Canada.
Yeah, they only
And so
like
it's
you in Montreal,
mhm,
there, Sammy.
mhm.
He had a
Yeah,
brief
so
run with the Bloodline where he was pretty hot, but you
he
knew
got
that
over.
was
He was hot at that point.
yeah,
Yeah, but
But
that wasn't
again,
gonna last.
how can we miss you if you don't go away?
Pretty much.
yeah, but he's cooled off, especially after Roman beat him
Yeah, he's
decisively in
cooled off
Montreal.
big time,
Yeah.
man.
Well,
So
and
yeah,
Brian
like you
Lance,
said,
I
that's
think, was
just a
saying, why couldn't
Mhm.
he win
filler
the title
match.
when in front of his wife? Um,
And I'm
like,
like,
why
then that,
couldn't he win the title from Roman Reigns in front
then
of his
that,
wife? And
Bro, they were
uh,
really pushed. Do you remember that? Like people were
yeah,
really pushing for that shit.
they
I'm
were
like, are you
pushing for
fucking
they
that.
wanted that
nuts?
title change
Like,
in
Yeah, they
no,
wanted
Montreal.
that title
Sammy's
change,
great, but he has no business beating Roman Reigns.
beating
Like,
Roman
Yeah.
what
Reigns,
are
especially in
we doing
Canada. But
here?
it was more for just, he was doing it in front of his wife because his wife was there, um, and Brian Last is like, well, why not? And Jim
Jim.
Cornette was like, yeah,
Mhm.
no
No,
way.
dude.
No.
And
I know
You might as
anyway,
well
people
you
just
really
had
piss
started to
his
get behind
face.
Sammy to the point where they wanted him to win that match, and I was like,
any
fuck no.
and Jim Cornette kind of had heat with Sammy and Kevin back from the Ring of Honor
Oh
days.
yeah.
He
Yeah,
calls
back
it
in the Ring of
Generico,
Honor.
is this moron Generico, wouldn't speak and
Yeah.
and and Kevin Steen, he was an asshole and tough to
They were
work
just
with, but
complainers. They just
and
always
now
were
in
complaining
WWE,
about
like
shit.
it was, I think the WrestleMania where Sami Zayn faced the Jackass guy. What's his name?
Johnny Knoxville.
Yeah, he wrestled Johnny Knoxville at
Yeah, I remember that in
WrestleMania.
the mouse trap.
Yeah, and Jim was like, "Why? Why? I mean, you when I try to get you to do something you didn't want to do, you whine and complain. But in WWE, is like, oh yeah, I'll wrestle Johnny Knoxville in a ridiculous match, and get beat by him. Sammy got beat by him. He got pinned by him. It's like,
Did he really? I couldn't even remember.
yeah, he lost that match
Oh god.
because he got trapped in the he got he was in the mousetrap, and then he couldn't get up. So Johnny just pinned him 1, 2, 3. Like you got beat by
That's
some
the
little
Roman
actor.
Reigns rub right there. Sammy should just be lucky he got what he got.
Yeah, and then
Because he, like
and
you
then
said, he was losing to Johnny Knoxville a year ago, and then now he's wrestling Roman for the title. At
yeah,
Elimination
and
Chamber or whatever it
which he
was.
lost. It's like, no, he's not going to the title. Like,
So yeah,
what are they going to
Sammy
do?
should be very happy that he got
Yeah,
all that rub.
I'm sure he has to be content with his position. There's no way that he would expect more from WWE.
Yeah, they do him right. WWE
Yeah,
does him right. He shouldn't be complaining about shit. Same with Kevin Owens. Those guys get booked pretty favorably.
yeah, and Cornette just calls him, oh, Steen. I don't like
Yeah,
Steen. Like he's
they're doing a three-way match for the U.S. title, aren't they?
yeah, it's
Orton, Owens,
Kevin
and
Owens, Orton, and Logan Paul.
yeah.
Oh God! And we were
Is
just
it a
talking
ladder
earlier
match or
about
just a
that.
triple threat match? I can't
Whatever it
remember.
is beyond my comprehension. Like,
Take your upvote, Witchy.
thank you, Earl. Thank you, Earl, for the like.
Thanks. But no, we were just talking about this earlier. Trying to figure out who could run with Cody once Cody gets the belt. Is he going to get it? Probably not. But I definitely think Kevin Owens and Randy Orton could be that guy for Cody, could put him
Yeah,
over, but then also he could put them over. But as of right now, I don't think Logan Paul could even sit in for
I
that. It
said
would have to be Kevin Owens.
I
my
think they're
top
probably
three.
going to put the belt on Orton and then have an LA Knight Randy Orton feud, which I'd be pretty happy
Really?
with. They've had
Whoa.
I'm an LA Knight mark, so I want LA Knight to
Oh, okay. Well,
get.
I don't
I
like
want
Yeah,
I
LA
want LA
Mark.
Knight to
LA
get a
I don't
title
like
shot.
LA
LA
Knight.
Knight.
Sorry.
I love
I've
LA
noticed
Knight, man.
that
He's awesome.
he's cooled off quite a bit himself. I mean, the
Yeah, he's
crowd
definitely
reaction's
cooled off a
not been the
lot.
same,
Yeah,
and
I
they're
mean they're
stuck
not.
in
I
him in
mean,
a
but
Phil.
like, despite his booking, he still every time he goes out there, he gets a huge pop.
Yeah, the
All right,
booking
I'll
has
give you
not been the
that.
best. Yeah,
Yeah, they're going,
He's
but
got good. He's
oh,
got good
oh.
catchphrase. I love his. He's got good
yeah,
catchphrases.
yeah.
He's got. He's once they put the rock, they'll put the rocket on LA Knight, and I think he'll be a pretty popular champion.
I think the
I think
Rock.
the. Go ahead.
Are you? I'm kind of confused. If we're doing LA Knight and the Rock, it's kind of like the Rock would just destroy him. Like, I don't think that he
Yeah,
maybe
I
stand up to
couldn't
the Rock.
He
see.
ain't ready for
I
that.
couldn't see LA Knight Taking out The
Yeah.
Rock.
He ain't ready
Sorry.
for that.
I
The
know
Rock
you're
would have
Mark.
way
I'm
too much
sorry.
material
Yeah,
on him.
I mean, yeah, people have accused LA Knight being a Rock ripoff, but
I mean, like, yeah, we talk about this. Everybody's a ripoff of everybody if you really
yeah,
look
exactly.
at it.
But
No,
like, I
I
agree
think
Rock
with.
wasn't at a Rock concert.
I think Randy Orton should probably win that U.S. title, triple threat match, and then have an
Yeah.
LA Knight Randy Orton match at SummerSlam.
They need to get that belt off Logan Paul. I mean, I get why you put it on
they
him.
got all the equity.
What does he
could.
have? The U.S. belt.
The U.S. title, yeah.
Oh, Jesus. They had to take it from WCW, didn't they?
Yeah, that's the U.S. title from WCW.
At
Yeah.
least Logan Paul could work. Logan Paul's a better worker than like 80% of the AEW.
Yeah, okay, but he still sucks.
Yeah, he's still a fuck. Yeah, I'm not a fan, but at least he can, wrestle.
He's trying to act like a heel, and I'm like, no, dude, don't act like a
taking
heel.
the business more seriously than a lot of other people. So
That's true. Yes,
give him props
I do
for
agree with that.
He's a douchebag human being, but at least he treats the business with respect.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
Did you hear earlier? I heard on Jimmy Dore that Jake Paul, his brother,
yeah, Tyson, bro.
Yeah,
Tyson still got it, bro.
Oh,
Yeah,
he's still got it. I'm just like,
that fucker is moving
You
up
could
from
say
cruiserweight to
exhibition
heavyweight.
match.
I was like, you gotta be shitting me, really?
Mike Tyson
Is this
has
a
one
boxing
speed.
match or a wrestling match, boys? Pick one.
Yeah. Mike
They
Tyson
have
has
to
one
move-
speed, exhibition or not. He's
Yeah.
coming out fucking swinging. he doesn't know how to like go.
There were the rumor about
Jake is
Jake
dead.
Jake Paul's gonna wear the helmet, the amateur boxing helmet, and
Yeah,
Probably
he wants to.
denied
for
it.
his own
That's
safety.
like the stipulations that they're denying.
And, yeah,
But
Logan
apparently
Paul's-
they're denying
Jake
it now
Paul is denying it.
because
Yeah,
they
and
want to be a
it's
little pussy boy and wear headgear, and then he wants to be able to tag in Logan Paul whenever he wants to.
Wait,
That's
what
what I'm
the
saying.
fuck? What are
It's
we-
either wrestling
Wait,
or
Yeah, that was
boxing,
the rumor
boys.
happening. No, there's no way they're
They
gonna do
denied that. It's like, oh
There's
no,
no
I'm not.
fucking way they do that.
I'm just
If they
haters.
do, I'm done.
Like they were just haters spreading those rumors.
I'm not watching
then-
that shit. I want to see a fucking boxing
Yeah.
match.
That's what Jimmy
I wanna
Dore
see
said. Jimmy's
Mike
like,
Tyson back in
I
the
want to
ring.
watch a boxing match, not a fucking wrestling match.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah,
hope they don't do that.
And I was like earlier, like wear the helmet, kid, because you're gonna get your head
he's
ripped
gonna
off.
need it.
Like
Yeah.
he's gonna get fucking brain damage from this fight. Mike Tyson.
Yeah, he's gonna get his head ripped off.
Mike
by
Tyson's gonna fuck him up.
Yeah.
Pardon my language.
That's what I
Tyson is
said.
like- I saw training video of Tyson. I'm like, damn, he still
Yeah, he's
got it.
still
What is he, 58?
freaking good, man.
Yeah.
Like I'm not. He's so quick and like. There's.
I
I've
saw
never.
it,
he's
it's like
so
it's like
fun. I
Mike
love Mike
Tyson
Tyson. I
from the
love
early
Mike Tyson.
'90s. I mean, scary. Like he was moving
Yeah.
around. Like
Yeah,
like,
bro.
holy shit.
I've never seen anybody like box like that can move like that and
No, Tyson
deliver
is
so much power and.
And then
yeah,
he
bro,
would
I
just
can
do
watch
that, and
Mike Tyson highlights all day. He's so fucking awesome.
he would do. He's like this, and then he'd be here, and you're standing here. He's like, "Oh, I got you right there,"
He's and he gets close to you, and he just jams that uppercut in your.
Yeah, I don't know how he was so fast. Like he moved his weight around so well, especially in the early '90s.
These guys don't even see the punch coming, and they're on the ground. Yeah, Mike Tyson rules.
Yeah, Mike Tyson would like like Jake wear the helmet. I mean,
He should.
It's like no, I'm fine. I'm not wearing the helmet.
He's gonna get destroyed.
But he's moving up from cruiserweight to heavyweight to fight Mike, and it's like
Yeah,
you're
of
moving up
course.
10 weight classes or something. It's like you're moving up like 10 weight classes to fight Mike Tyson. Like,
He's gonna beat him, Mike Tyson.
if I'm Logan,
like a
like,
redheaded stepchild.
look, I get
entertaining.
there's gonna be a payday here because it's Mike Tyson, but you don't want to fight Tyson, dude. I would try to tell my brother not to do that.
For this because he's gonna get slaughtered. So, have y'all seen The Rock's? Have y'all talked about The Rock already?
Yeah, we kind of brought it up earlier, like the Rock concert, and
Yeah,
he's gonna fuck around and get over and turn this crowd against Cody.
And I think it's already happening. I mean,
they booed him.
now, is he a baby face or a heel? Because I thought he was a heel.
This is
he's
the
heel
Rock.
Rocky.
This is the Rock telling Triple H, "I told you so." He's like,
Okay.
all right, you want to keep Cody in the main event?
Okay. And then he came
And
out with the Hollywood.
He's gonna win this because he's being his social media promos are fire right now, man. Calling Cody
the ones on
fucking
Instagram.
crybaby and shit. Like I laughed my ass off at that.
He's like, "Are you?" He showed him Cody's video crying.
Yeah,
on
bro,
Raw,
it was so good.
and he was like, "Are you fucking crying?"
I showed that to my girlfriend, and she was like, fuck Cody Rhodes. So like my girlfriend's already turning on Cody. I've
Yeah, I
always been
think
Team Rock. I'm
I
not a
wouldn't be
fan of Cody.
surprised if The Rock was like, okay, I'm gonna
I
turn
wasn't
this
much
crowd
for The
against
Rock.
Cody.
Are they? What do you think they're doing though? Like, because
I
Roman is
think
an afterthought right now. Are they doing like a Nation of Domination?
it's on. I think it's on. I
Could
think
be.
Roman is an afterthought on
Is
purpose
Roman
right now.
Farouk right now?
Like
Because that's what it
The
feels
Rock
like.
is turned. The Rock has turned his 3.5 year title run into the secondary
An
story,
afterthought.
and
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, do you
This
remember
is
the
Cody's
Rock,
first
Die
Rock.
Rocky
I
or
mean, that's
Die
what it feels
stuff?
like.
yeah,
Yeah, Die Rocky Die, and then when he took over the Nation of
the nation.
Domination,
Hmm.
that was to get the
Yeah.
heat off of him.
That's what this feels like right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like that. He came out to the Hollywood Rock theme too on
Yeah.
SmackDown, which was what fans
He is
wanted.
killing
Yeah.
it right now. This is like the best unintentional storytelling that
But I
like
think,
this couldn't have gone better for WWE.
but
I
I
like
think
it.
I
the
don't know about Cody. Cody, like I said, man, I'm really thinking that
He looks really small right now, and
he
I'm
looks
kind of
like he
concerned
looks like
about
a
that.
little
Even if he
kid.
wins, I think he's gonna win the title at WrestleMania. They have to put the belt on
I
him.
think so
I
too, and
don't think so.
I don't
I
know
just
No,
how
don't.
much longer
No,
this fanfare is gonna last.
because if
I honestly don't think they're going to put the belt on him because they want to keep dragging out this goddamn story. Sorry to
This
my
story
French.
sucks.
that's
I
the
know,
second
but
year,
Did you hear
I still
Dolph
think they're going to
Ziggler?
drag it out.
Did you hear that clip of Dolph Ziggler on Busted Open Radio? He pretty much said it. Like
yeah.
this isn't even his story. This is his dad's story. Like it's I'm over it. I'm ready for it
And
to end.
We
Dave,
are
Dave,
over it, but I
I just
just
want
don't
it
think
to
it's going
end.
to end yet.
Dave,
I just
Dave
want it to
LaGreca
fucking
is like a
end.
Cody Mark, so that's why he's
Like
wearing the American Nightmare.
WWE is coming really close to overplaying their hand on this one.
Yeah, they got to put the
I
belt on him.
agree.
Yeah,
They
But I
got
just
to.
don't see
really
him
close.
not at WrestleMania. Maybe at
So,
SummerSlam, but I just don't see WrestleMania.
shit, I'm ready to put the belt on The Rock. Fuck it, man.
I
Let's go.
know. Well, I think there's certain people that will always come back and always have be, that be over kind of
He's on
thing.
another level
The
than
Rock is one of
everybody.
them.
Yeah.
John Cena is another, and then Stone Cold is also another. Undertaker is another. It's just
Yeah.
no matter how much these people come back, they will always be in that title range of, they are over because they were over in the 90s, and they
Yeah,
will
no
always
doubt.
be that way.
Mhm.
Even if it's a new crowd, a new audience, the older audience will always remember them, and they will always be over. So
Yeah, and
I think
Yeah,
The Rock has always been over and always
Yeah.
will be.
he's on another. He's showing that he's on a completely different level than
Yeah.
anybody in that company. Like
Yep.
he's making
Initially-
Roman. Like we all thought
Mhm.
Roman Reigns was a star.
Yeah.
The Rock
Well,
is a
what
fucking star.
The Rock was
It-
the star.
It's coming at first when they did the pivot. I was like, oh great, this is what they needed to be. I mean, the fans were melting down, Cody crybabies, all that stuff on Twitter after Cody let The Rock like a patsy or little bitch says, okay, you can take the match, I'll walk away and I'll work with Seth. But then they pivoted, and I like that. So like, okay, this is what they needed
Yeah,
to be.
it
But
worked
now
out good.
looking back,
Because
I'm like, did it really need to be Cody? Because like he's really been like kind of like minimized by The Rock.
yeah,
Same
man,
thing
but
with Roman. They're all like
The
minimized.
Rock
by
is
him.
just on another, and like The Rock is a heel, man, and he's killing it
Yeah.
as a heel right now. And I love
And
to see it.
Cody
He's making
needs that
wrestling
title.
cool again.
And that's
Cody-
why they bring them back. So they
Dude, I
brought
got friends
Stone
that
Cold
are
back.
texting me.
Same thing.
Mhm.
John Cena, they did the same thing. These guys will always be over. Like
Yeah.
I said, they'll always be over, and it doesn't matter if they're heel or babyface. They will always be over with that crowd.
Yeah, I got friends texting me that we used to watch wrestling when we were kids. Like, oh shit, The Rock's back. Like they're watching wrestling again.
And he's
They haven't
back
watched
pretty much.
wrestling in
Back.
20 plus years.
Yeah.
People are coming back, man.
He's back.
Yeah.
Back.
We're all
At
in that
least into
midlife crisis
WrestleMania.
range. You know,
Yeah.
we're all looking
Hey,
for a
speak for
little
yourself.
nostalgia.
Speak for
He's
yourself.
back. Like he's back into
Yeah, I'm
WrestleMania.
almost 40 years old, man. Yeah.
And
No,
then
so
he's
like
gone.
my friends that I haven't watched wrestling in decades, and they're texting me like, "What the hell? The Rock's back, and maybe I need to start watching." So it's working. It's working.
The Rock is going back into Mania, and then he has a movie or something, and then he'll be back in the summer, I guess, because he's gonna work more
Yeah.
matches this year.
See, but that's the thing. No matter if it's Stone Cold, if it's Undertaker, or who it is, all the 90s guys are all over. So Doesn't matter how many
Yeah.
times they come back, babyface or heel, they will always be that over category, and they will be always above everybody else that's already there, and that's kind of sad, but it kind of tells you where it is because no one nowadays can go over because it's all just bullshit,
It
and
tells
it
you
will
where
never
modern
be
wrestling is
good.
at.
It's bullshit wrestling.
It
It's circus Olay, as you say,
when
Angel.
when fucking every time a Rock comes back, it tells you where modern wrestling is at
Right.
because he's
Because everybody
overshadowed
wants
all
that
these
Well,
guys.
yeah.
90s magic
We're all
again
just so happy to get a little taste again of what it used
of,
to
Yeah,
of
be.
the 90s wrestling. That's right.
I was never a fan of The Rock's wrestling. It was like
Yeah, I
meh,
didn't really like The Rock. I
but
was more Stone Cold.
Yeah,
his
Stone Cold.
promos were always fire to me. But I didn't like The Rock.
Some of them were funny.
Yeah, I didn't like his Rock concert too much last night. It was like it felt forced.
It was definitely
Like
written for him.
yeah, but that's what I said. It was written for him. He's trying to remember the lines, and he's like,
Right,
it felt forced. It wasn't good.
Yeah,
I
it was a
right.
mean,
little corny.
yeah,
Like I said, I thought his promo on social media was fucking amazing.
yeah, yeah. Those were much better than what
Which kind
happened.
of
What he
isn't
did on
fair,
SmackDown.
that like he's got like 200 million followers. He's just dropping these things on Cody.
Uh huh.
Poor Cody. Like, what can you do, man?
He
Like,
can't really. He doesn't
you
have
can't respond to that.
like he
Like, you
doesn't have
just
a response. So it's kind
he,
of
he
burying Cody
he
too.
needs to start doing social media videos too, then, because
Yeah,
Yep.
he's
he
losing
needs to.
steam, man.
Yeah, he need that. The Rock is like burying Cody, and there's nothing he can do because
And you got
it's
Would,
like
Seth Rollins,
would it
dumbass.
help if Cody had maybe if Cody went away? Do you think that would help? Maybe if he went away to like Hollywood
well,
or
No,
something?
he needs to
it
respond with some fire. He needs to come back with some lines, man.
man.
He
He
needs to
needs to
fight
look
back.
like
Okay,
a grown man instead of like a
a
act
little
like an
kid,
actor.
like
He
Yeah,
needs to
trying
show
to
a
hide
little
behind his
fire,
dad
a
again.
little,
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, Cody,
crying
step
ain't
up and
it.
be your own. Your dad's dead.
Crying
Cody
ain't
I
is
mean,
it.
the
I feel
Cody
bad that
Rhodes.
Dusty died, but I mean, come on, be
Cody Rhodes
yourself, be a
is
man.
he's the perfect representation of modern wrestling fans. He's the crybaby, like he's like crying. He's very emotional. As soon as Cody lost his match, they all melted down. All his
Yep.
fans like crying on Twitter and I surprised WWE listened to the fans and kind of switched that match. Like, whoa, they pivoted, okay, but now today looking back,
It
that
worked
might have been
out
a
good, but
mistake.
yeah, I was too.
That might have been a mistake because Cody's losing steam. The Rock is murdered, is like destroying him on promos on the
Yeah,
internet,
like I said, The
and
Rock's telling Triple H, "I told you so."
Cody get no response. So what are you gonna do? Like he needs to. They need to allow him to go on his Twitter or Instagram, whatever,
Yeah,
and
he needs to do something.
respond.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he needs to do something because he is getting buried right now.
Hmm.
yeah. And these promos on Raw, him crying is not doing it. I
No,
mean,
that
it's
ain't
So
like
helping.
that's
That's
my
just giving The
question for
Rock
you
more
both.
material to throw at him.
So how could Cody rectify this situation,
uh,
Come up with
gentlemen?
something.
the
Come up with something good.
the WWE needs to let him go online
He
and
needs to
cut
come up
a.
with something good.
They need him to cut an uncensored promo on
Yeah,
Rocky, and it needs to be good. It can't
and
be,
not workshop, not
yeah.
overproduced, like something raw,
Like it
like some
needs to
real
be
shit.
a pissed off Cody Rhodes going on the internet, going on Twitter or Instagram, whatever he has, and cutting a promo. A real like the man Cody Rhodes, not the character, not the
Exactly.
story. Don't
Exactly.
give
I
me like I
totally
need to.
agree, Angel.
Yeah, that's what it needs to be, and I don't know if Cody's capable of that
Yeah.
because his entire career has been scripted. Like an
Yeah.
actor. He's in.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
He's got to pull
fair
something out
enough.
of his ass quick, man,
Yeah,
because
mhm.
pretty soon, come
I mean,
WrestleMania time,
yeah, because I
I
agree
don't know
with
if they're
Angel.
gonna be
He
with
is
him
trying.
anymore.
The Rock is making Cody non-relevant. And that was like why I wanted to ask, like, how could he stay relevant? Because again, these wrestlers will show up. John Cena, Stone Cold. Stone Cold had
Yeah, they
that thing
just
with Kevin
bury these
Owens.
modern wrestlers every
Yeah,
time.
Kind of got
Not even
Kevin
fair.
Owens over. But I mean, once these wrestlers come back, it's kind of like everyone else just kind of falls down the rest of the guard.
yeah.
So it's how could we rectify this to make once these wrestlers
Because
leave, now
the
we can build our
issue
wrestlers back up.
The issue with Cody, WWE,
That's a good
the
question.
Rock, the Rock can get away with cussing in his promos online, but the
Right.
other wrestlers can't. There's a
Okay.
policy, it's a social media policy that TKO has, which wrestlers cannot swear and they
Really?
cannot. Yeah, there's a policy.
I mean, they
there's
used to. Austin used to
there's a
swear all the time.
there's a policy,
Cody
social
needs to be
media
like,
policy.
fuck that, dude. I need to respond to this.
Yeah, I'd be like, fuck that.
Like, if y'all are about to make me the world champ,
Yeah,
let
he
me
need
fucking cut a promo on this guy.
they gotta put the belt on him.
And an adult one. Stop
Yeah.
acting like a little kid.
He needs to cut a fire ass promo on The
Yeah.
Rock
Yeah,
to
right.
get fans back on his side, because right now The Rock is just fucking killing him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's killing
The
him
Rock
off,
is reminding everybody why they loved The Rock in the first place.
he's
And
killing
why
him
he should have
off.
never went away. But again, how can we miss you unless you go away?
Yeah,
Right.
He's killing him off. He's killing Cody off, and they need to put the belt on Cody, but at the same time, and I'm like, if they do, what are they gonna do with him?
he's gonna
And
feel like a lame duck champ if he wins
Yeah.
like this. Like, it's just like, all right, it's gonna, like, just put the belt on Gunther. Just let Cody. All right, here you go, buddy. Here's the
like
belt.
people
We're
are
taking
gonna
it off you
realize.
next month and putting it on Gunther.
People are gonna realize, or I think Cody is better. There's money in Cody in the chase. When he
Yeah.
becomes champion,
Right.
it's like, okay,
And
what's
that's what
next?
they were
You know?
saying about the time the Dusty the Dusty not Dusty Bro, the Dusty biography came out because it's something that Jim Cornette brought up. He was kind of like, well, they just said that Dusty, it's always in the chase. It's never there's you can't make money when you're the champion. It's always in the chase of becoming that champion.
Yeah.
Because once you become champion, well, the chase is over with.
It's like,
Yeah.
And
what's
there
next?
goes all the money.
It's like the movie's over, you know?
Yeah, it's
And
like,
unless
what's
you
next?
got a damn good sequel, lined up, the movie's gonna
That's
end,
why
and
I
it's gonna
said
be-
Cody needs a
gonna
strong
be it.
heel. Coming out of WrestleMania as a champion, he needs a strong heel to feud with, and there's not many in WWE right now.
just Gunther.
Gunther, but I don't want to beat Gunther. That's the
No,
kind
I
of my
think
concern.
Cody. I don't think Cody's story involves him having a long championship reign. It's just winning the belt.
Winning the belt, right? Like Dusty
Yeah.
So
did.
let him win the belt, and then have him lose to Gunther.
and then chase Gunther. I mean, that could work.
And then you can be like, I screwed up. I don't know. Like, you're right though. It always works better when the belt's on a heel.
Yeah, that's why I don't want to beat Gunther, because I know if WWE goes in the direction of Super Cody, like Cody can't get beat like Cena like 10 years ago.
God, yeah.
If
I mean,
he
that's
can't,
going to be one of those 50-50 things where, half the crowd loves it and half the
Yeah,
crowd hates it.
it's gonna go. I'm pretty sure that's the direction they're gonna go. The Super Cody, he can't get beat, or he'll beat 3 guys by himself. Like Cena.
Man, that
used to
shit's
do.
gonna get old.
Yeah, if they do that, if that Vince influence is in Triple H, it's gonna be a problem. It's gonna ruin Cody pretty quickly. He'll be like Cena, boo, yay, it's gonna be that shit again.
So who?
Well, yeah,
who
but
would
they
you,
wouldn't
who would you
turn
make
Cena
Cody's first opponent
heel.
out of Mania?
Because Cena does the Wish for Kids, the Wish Foundation or whatever, and they need to turn John Cena heel, but they won't do that because he does that Make a Wish for Kids.
Vince was absolutely against it for years, and I think at one point Cena might have pitched a heel turn, and Vince was absolutely against it. Like you'll never be heel as long as I'm around. And it worked, but same thing with Roman. The only reason why I turned him heel because of COVID, and they were desperate to have him back on television.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't come back unless he was a heel, apparently. So it's like,
no bad cookies, I didn't. Caught a sinus infection. That's how I lost my voice.
Did they give you some codeine syrup at least?
Yes, 5 milliliters every 8 hours.
You can stretch that. You can manipulate those numbers a little. You know what I mean? Yeah, that was the best part about having a sinus infection is you get the amoxicillin and you get
So in Cody,
and I got the saline up the nose.
That's
every 4 days.
So I mean, they need, I don't know, we've been talking about. Cody needs a response. He's not getting a response. He's just going on Raw and SmackDown and cutting his usual wrestling style promos and his scripted promos, and he's not getting a real response.
He's losing a lot of steam coming up to the biggest match of his career, and that's not how you want to go into that match, losing steam.
No, because you want to be on top. because that would put more asses in more seats. I agree with that. I agree that they should end the story. Okay, and the Chase Boys. It's been over a year now. Okay, it's done.
It's about to be 2 years.
Yeah.
About to be 2 years, but I just don't. I have a feeling they're not going to pull the trigger. No offense.
That'll kill him off. He'll be done at that point.
He'll be done. He'll be. Yeah.
I mean, it's either now or never, boys.
Yeah, they got to do it, even if they take it off him in 3 months or whatever. But
yeah, it doesn't matter. They could have done the same thing to Curt Hennig, but
they got to pull the trigger.
I didn't think Cody was going to win last year at Mania. I was pretty sure Roman was going to retain, but I think
I did too.
I think Cody's going to win this.
But
year.
I think that it ruined everything for that chase. Because now the chase is getting stale. Oh, what's he going to do? Chase it the rest of his damn life?
Yeah, and then what are you going to do? Win the Royal Rumble again next year? And then they get a rematch with Roman. He got beat twice.
I agree. I just think they're going to keep, having that stale story of, he's still in the chase for it. Well, guys, it's getting old now. It's getting old.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he'll lose and win the Money in the Bank and challenge Seth. But, I don't know.
You never know.
Yeah,
I just have a feeling he's not going to win.
If Cody wins, I think Gunther's going to win the Money in the Bank. But if Roman
wins, I think
Cody's going to win
the
Money in the Bank.
Because
and then it could be Gunther and Cody for the next however many months.
This is good because I like unpredictability. I don't like to be able to know where the story's going all the time.
No, and sometimes I don't either. But I'm just saying, don't be surprised if Cody does not win. All I'm saying is don't.
I really will be. I will be surprised.
That'll kill him off.
You would be surprised. That would kill the chase too, because it's like, okay, enough, boys.
Kill Cody. He'd be just another guy after that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what's in Triple H.
I think they've boxed themselves into a corner and they need Cody to win. But this is just what The Rock's doing to him is like the worst thing that could happen to Cody right now.
Even if he's not as over as as he once was, they have to do the switch.
They have to, and like I said, I think they're gonna. I don't think he's gonna be a long champion. I think they're gonna take it off of him pretty quick if this continues.
I get, but my again, this is just.
I didn't know she was your boy toy.
What? Oh.
Angel has a hot day with Crystal Ball. Gee, I didn't even know you were her boy toy. You're better than Kyle, let's put it that way.
Yeah, but my prediction is Cody wins the title at Mania. He'll have it through August 31st, which is my birthday, by the way. It's a pay-per-view. It's called Bash at Berlin. It's in
4-2-0 is my birthday. 420.
So that's where they pull the trigger on Gunther.
They have to. Either he cashes in the Money in the Bank, or it'd be Gunther versus Cody Rhodes, and
it'd be a weird dynamic though. Gunther's going to be the babyface in Germany. Do you really want the fans booing Cody as that makes it a weird dynamic?
But it's like this because Bret Hart was always a babyface in Canada, so every time Shawn Michaels was a babyface in America, but every time he went to Canada to face Bret, he was a heel. Because they just love Bret.
I'm thinking that's where they
can get over that. Because Shawn got over it.
Yeah, they put the belt on Gunther there. I don't think they beat Cody clean because he's their top babyface by that point. So they have
it would have to be a fucked finish so Cody can then get the belt back.
Then he'll go on the chase. He'll chase the rest of the year, go into WrestleMania with Gunther and Cody Rhodes, and I assume Cody would beat him at that point. He'll run with it a few months, and then
I do have a question. Do you guys think that Gunther is at that top card level yet, or is he sort of still mid card?
They're definitely building him up to be.
He's been Intercontinental Champion for nearly 700 days.
He's gonna be their next top heel. I think that's what they're building him up to be.
Yeah, because Roman Reigns is going away after WrestleMania. I suspect he's not. He's gonna drop that title and go away. And they need a new top heel. And when Roman comes back, he's going to be that babyface. The tribal chief will be a babyface.
There's no really conflict between America and Germany right now. Like there was like back in the 80s when there was like tensions between America and Russia. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, how would exactly they make him the top heel? Because, again, there's nothing really between America and Germany right now.
Well, he's already a heel. regardless, because
Okay.
they kind
He'll
of
be
play
here.
into the Nazi themes. They just don't
Yeah,
spell it
kind
out
of.
for you.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
The
So,
They could do the
there's
Nazi
definitely
thing.
some. I mean,
They could do the Nazi
the group's
thing.
called Imperium. You know, there's some
Yeah.
definite.
It's like
They could get away with the Nazi
Mhm.
thing.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot.
There's
of
definitely heat there.
They have
Like,
to
I'm
be
pretty
careful.
sure the name Gunther came from a Nazi like submarine guy or some shit. Remember that controversy when they changed his name?
Yeah,
and it
because
like
he
a
was.
Nazi?
And I'm not sure if you know.
What was he
Wiki, but
before?
was Walter.
Walter. Yeah, Walter.
Walter. Well, during his matches, that's all. And he was like a pudgy fat guy at the time.
So, Angel, you think Roman is going to be the babyface in the feud with The Rock? You think they're going to continue Hollywood Rock?
This is my guess. The way they'll do it is Cody and they'll beat Cody and Seth night 1 and have the Bloodline rules match in the main event night 2. Then The Rock will turn on Roman at some point. The Bloodline will turn on Roman in the match. And then, Paul Heyman will go with The Rock and Jimmy and Solo and possibly Tama Tonga debuts at WrestleMania. I don't know.
Yeah, I've heard rumors. So basically, The Rock's going to take over the Bloodline.
They'll take over the Bloodline and kick Roman out.
Wow.
And they'll leave Roman to get beat by Cody.
But that crowd, it doesn't matter if Roman is a babyface or a heel. It just seems like they want him to stay heel no matter what. So even if he's a babyface, they probably will still boo him.
Yeah,
people are always going to. Roman's a cool heel though, so he's always going to have people.
He doesn't have to change his character. He just comes back as a babyface, and the fans will cheer him. Even though he doesn't have to change his character at all. Yeah, he'll get beat. Cody be the champion. The Rock will stand with the Bloodline. He's the leader of the Bloodline, and he'll go away for a while, then come back in the summer and set up a match with
Roman
the Rock.
promos. That should be interesting.
Yeah, that's my guess. What's gonna happen?
I'll see if Roman's on that level because I think Rock's gonna cook him too, man.
We'll see. We'll see, but
unless he takes it easy on him because a little cousin and all, he could mail it in a little bit.
Yeah, that's my.
It depends on if they're going to push him.
Yeah,
is he going to get that push?
If Roman loses at Mania, he's going to go away for a while.
Yeah, he has to.
Again, how can we miss you if you don't go away, right?
He's going to go away for a while.
Yeah,
when does he even show up? I mean, Paul Heyman, it seems like every Raw or whatever, he's always like, oh, I'm going to call Roman.
Yeah,
where the heck is he? Why isn't he showing up?
Yeah. The Rock is showing up more often than Roman now.
Than Roman Reigns.
Heading into WrestleMania.
Right. Right. Yeah, I'm like, where the hell is he? Why didn't he show up?
Afterthought right now.
Yeah, and then next week, I think on SmackDown next week, there's a face-to-face between The Rock and Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes.
Good. They
need to
get this back on course because everybody's just getting swallowed up. And The
Rock is just coming in here.
He is just in a vacuum. And just
that's what I mean. It's like Hogan coming back again.
Vacuum. He's a vacuum. Cody, he swallows up Cody and Seth, and even Roman is like
he's bigger than the WWE at this point,
And that should tell you what modern wrestling is compared to in the 80s and 90s wrestlers. Because even when Hogan came back, he was swallowing a lot of people.
Yeah, even 20 years ago when Hogan had that run in WWE, it was like he was still over. He was the top. I think he became champion at one point. He beat Triple H and became champion once again.
I don't doubt that for a second. Again, that shows you where modern wrestling is because we're all tired of these no good Cirque du Soleil actors and actresses who act like wrestlers, but they're not even entertainers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're just
terrible
guys and girls that can do moves.
But yeah, Cody has to win that title. If he doesn't,
they box themselves. I think they've got.
Yeah, he's done. They kill him off.
Yeah,
and I think I don't know. Like I said, I would love to think that Triple H will do that, but I just have this sinking feeling that they're not going to pull the trigger on it.
I don't know why they would have forced him back in the match then, just to give the fans Cody losing. Like if they didn't want him to win, I don't know if they would have shoehorned him back in this title match.
Yeah.
And I hope you guys are right. I hope you guys are super right.
I think it was last week.
When I just don't like the feeling.
Last week when Rocky and they were on the ring together, Rock said, if you don't beat Roman at WrestleMania, this is your last title shot. You'll never get that title shot. You'll never get another shot at the title again.
Wait, who said that? Paul Heyman?
No, The Rock did.
Oh, The Rock did.
Because he's on the board. So he's like, I'll make sure you never get a title shot again. Which kind of give away the finish that he has to win the title now.
Yeah.
Right.
Then again, they did do that in AEW, and he lost to Jericho, and he could never challenge for the title again.
But that was
I don't know if
Cody,
he'll make that same mistake twice.
No, that was Cody basically saying
if they're better than AEW.
Yeah, that was Cody saying, I'm not going to force myself.
Yeah, he didn't want to be the EVP who put the belt on himself, basically. That's why he did that, you know. And
but that shocked a lot of people because people thought the same thing you just said, like, oh well, yeah, he's got to win the title now, and then he lost, and everybody's like, holy shit, Cody's never going to challenge for the title,
which he did.
Yeah, I don't think they'll do that.
I think Jericho did that on purpose. Jericho loves to keep guys lower than himself, and that's because he's a little bitch boy who thinks that if someone gets over on Chris Jericho or himself. They're going to be bigger stars than him, and then he'll be irrelevant. Chris Jericho, you've been irrelevant since WCW, dude. Get over it.
Yeah, thing with that, in that situation, Cody was above Jericho. In that situation,
I really do.
In that situation, Cody was above Jericho because he was the EVP.
Yeah.
So if Cody wanted the title, he would have gotten it, no matter what Jericho said.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. I mean, I think that had a lot to do with Jericho pulling the plug on it and saying no, because if he goes over and now he'll be a bigger star than me. Jericho, you are irrelevant. You need to leave.
Bad Cookies make a great point. Wrestling has been the same since they allowed Chris Jericho to be a champion. When Chris Jericho became undisputed champion, he beat Austin and The Rock in the same night.
That sucked.
That's crazy.
And it sucked. He sucks. I never liked Chris Jericho. I never liked that dude.
And Vince knew.
It's a fucking Jericho.
I hated Chris Jericho.
I could have picked about 10 other guys that I would have given
Vince
that
knew.
run to.
I would have picked anybody but Chris.
When
Jericho.
he put the belts on Jericho, he kind of knew. He's like, hey Taker, you know how the business is dead or something like that. He's like, how? Because we're putting the belt on Jericho.
Yeah.
And Jericho's right there.
That's
too.
That's when wrestling became all inclusive and everybody can play and anybody can win the title.
Gunner says Jericho killed off Ricky Starks. I mean, he's killed off plenty of guys in AEW.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, he's not a good guy.
Yeah.
He's like one of those jealous guys that he used to be on the lower card, and he always wanted a chance. Yeah, and he would always complain, "Oh, they're not giving me a push," and then now they want to give guys pushes, and Jericho's like, "Well, they'll be bigger than me." Yeah, that's because you suck. You can't wrestle, Jericho.
Any chance Ricky Starks is at WrestleMania?
Possibility.
I hope so. I mean, he's small, but that's the problem with him. He's small, but
I mean, is he still with AEW? I know his last match they lost the tag titles.
Tag titles to Sting
and hasn't been
Darby
back since.
Is his contract up? I don't know. Because
I hope so, man. I think he.
I wouldn't be surprised if he just went over to NXT. I mean,
yeah, I think that would probably be.
That happened to Brian Pillman Jr. Now he's like one of their biggest stars in NXT.
Yeah, Ricky was.
And that was the best thing for him.
Ricky's a great promo. Like Ricky can fucking talk.
The WWE could turn Ricky Starks into something. I mean,
I totally agree.
Upper mid card, not a main eventer, but like a mid card, upper mid card guy.
Intercontinental U.S. title guy.
Yeah, he can definitely do that.
He's very entertaining. So I'll hope Ricky Starks gets free from AEW because that might be
get free from AEW. That would be your best bet.
The one man I want free.
Go ahead and
bring
Wardlow and Chris Statlander.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to bring him up. That's the one guy I want free from AEW. Do you know?
I'm right there with you. Yep.
At that big business event, Joe beat Wardlow in 10 minutes.
Choked his ass out in the middle.
Just flat in the middle of the ring and his finish. I'm like, Wardlow's not a main eventer in AEW then. He's done.
Yeah.
He got flat in 10 minutes.
At least they didn't cut his hair off this time.
This time.
He got beat flat in the middle,
man.
with Joe's finish.
Hottest guys of that.
He was when he killed MJF.
They bury you.
He killed MJF.
They bury you.
MJF, but Willow can't fucking squash Riho. Get the fuck out of here, man.
I realized
but Riho was a champion. You can't. No, fuck yes, you can.
He's the first.
Riho was 110 pounds.
If you can squash MJF, you can squash Riho.
MJF knows the business.
And what's Willow, 250?
Exactly, Angel.
Yeah.
MJF knows the business. Like, I mean, Wardlow squashed me.
But no one would believe it.
What a waste. MJF did that for his buddy, and they fucking...
Because nobody believed it, right?
Immediately. He should have been in the main event for the title and winning the world title. Instead, what did they do with him? They put him in the TNT
They put him
title
in the TNT
picture.
titles.
He won the TNT title, and
that belt was played hot potato with for the next 2 years.
Yeah, what did they? I mean, it's like, okay, you kill MJF, you're the top babyface.
Here's some security guards to fight.
Guys, I'm sorry, I have to go. My son is going to bed, so I have to put him to bed.
Oh, yeah, it is. It's 9 o'clock.
All right,
It's 9 o'clock.
It's nearly 10 o'clock. Yes, it is 10 o'clock.
It's 10:02.
Well, I mean, we could just wrap up. I mean, we can come back to this next week, but
absolutely, we'll definitely come back to it next week. And next week, I promise my voice should be better.
All right, well, we're wrapping up here because he has to put his son to bed, and we have to go anyways. It's past 10 o'clock. So thank you very much for watching episode 5 of Pro Wrestling Talk. Hopefully we can get Dave and Greg and the A-Team, for one more week.
We are definitely the A-Team.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, until next week, next Saturday, same time, same place, and we'll see you then. Have a nice weekend, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Peace out.